whether through incremental updates or full system replacements. The result is better visibility, stronger reliability, and a scalable foundation ready for what's next. Yep, Graybar does that.
America is turning 250 this year, and Circa Sports is celebrating by offering all users in Missouri $250. For everyone in Missouri, all you have to do is deposit $250 on your Circa Sports app, then play through that deposit. Once you do, Circa Sports will reward you with $250 right in your account. This is available for everyone in Missouri, new and existing users. Celebrate 250 years and find out more at circasports.com today. Must be 21 or older and in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Welcome to Extra Innings, presented by Graybar. Graybar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs. And by Circa Sports. Circa Sports. Sports betting the way it should be. On the voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
Welcome into the Extra Innings Show, the Circa Sports Extra Innings Show right here on KMOX. My name is Matt Pauley. Head's kind of swirling right now. We've got a couple things to deal with. First off, the fact that the Cardinals do lose today. They fall to the Cubs by a 3-0 score. That is notable, and that's why we're here. But also the news that was passed along by Cardinals manager Oliver Marmol immediately following the game. He said it to Mike Claiborne. In fact, you know what? Let's go ahead and before we start anything, because I know for some of you who are joining us on the video stream, you may not have heard the news that we had for you on the network post-game show. So let's go ahead and just for a second, listen into the announcement that was made by Oliver Marmol after the game.
Weren't able to scratch a whole lot today.
Well, also there's another roster addition that's going to take place today.
Yeah, we're excited. Baez will be joining us. He's had a really good year in AAA. He's done some special things. Offensively, he's put together some really good numbers, and I'm excited just from a power output, but also personality and the way he works and everything he brings to the table. I'm excited to have him here.
Well, we're excited to watch him. Will he be in the lineup tomorrow?
He'll be in the lineup tomorrow.
Looking forward to it.
You got it.
There it was. That was the announcement. Oliver Marmol talking with Mike Claiborne, as you heard first on the network post-game show, but we play again now so you can hear it from Oliver Marmol's, from his voice. Joshua Baez, he is set to get here, and we are certainly excited about that. Here's what we've got coming up over really the next few hours. So this is going to be a rather short edition of the Circa Sports Extra Innings Show. We'll take you only for about 15 minutes or so up until the top of the hour. We'll get our 5 o'clock news with Michael Calhoun. Then Bertie Miklasz is going to join me, and we'll have Redbird Rush Hour from 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock, and then it's back to me solo again, as you'll have me from 6 o'clock. You've had a lot of me today. Maybe you've had too much of me today. I had Gas House Gang, had Cardinals pregame. We're doing this. We're doing the next thing. KMOX listeners have had enough of me today, but I'm glad to be doing it, and I'm glad to be talking through Joshua Baez for sure, as this is fun news, and we'll kind of split our time talking about that and also talking about what went down in the game today. So as always, if you do want to chime in, feel free to do so by calling or texting 314-436-7900, 314-436-7900. That's how you call or text. You can tweet at me at Matt Pauley on air, MattPauley on air. And for those of you who are watching on the video stream, feel free to leave a comment. I would love to hear how people are feeling about Joshua Baez getting called up, for all the consternation over the last 48 to 72 hours of what are the Cardinals doing? How can they not call this guy up? Now you've passed the point of rookie eligibility. Well, basically you had to wait one extra day. You basically had to wait one extra day. He did not arrive today. He'll arrive tomorrow, and we'll see how it goes. The real third man getting in here saying about Baez, he did cut down his strikeout rate, but he cuts it down at the expense of his power. Interesting how they balance all that out. Yeah, and you don't know what that's going to look like at the next level, right? We've seen that happen before, where maybe you slow down your bat speed a little bit, maybe you choke up on the bat a bit to try to avoid strikeouts, but then power goes away with that. That's a very normal thing that does happen. And I think it has happened a little bit with Baez here recently, but he's still got a ton of power. He's got about as much power as anybody not named Jordan Walker. And I mean, the power is right there next to him. So it's going to be fun to see for sure what it's going to look like with Joshua Baez. We got our first phone call of the day. Randy has given us a call. Hey, Randy, you're on the Circus Sports Extra Innings Show.
How you doing, Mike? Got a couple questions real quickly. Is the Cardinals going to have to call Quinn Matthews up to pitch the second game on Monday against Cincinnati? And it's good to see Baez. I think Baez is going to tear the ball up here.
All right, Randy, appreciate the phone call. I don't think they've officially announced, unless I missed it. I would suspect we see Quinn Matthews next week at some point. It would make sense to make it part of the doubleheader day because you get the roster exemption on a player. But at some point, I think Matthews is going to be here. Now, that being said, Matthew Liberatore was really good today. If you're looking for the opening to put Quinn Matthews into the rotation, if the hope was that he takes Liberatore's spot in the rotation, that's not going to happen after today. I don't think it's going to happen, period. Now, the more pressing thing when it comes to Matthews being with the big league club is the team being keenly aware of the innings count on Kyle Leahy. Leahy, in his first year as a full-time starter at the big league level, he's thrown a lot of pitches, he's thrown a lot of innings, and there is a threshold that you do not want to cross with a guy like that in terms of increased workload from one year to the next. And that's where I think Matthews comes in on this thing. But if you do utilize the doubleheader day and the roster exemption yet on Monday for that, well, then that takes you almost to September when you can just bring him back up when you have rosters expanding to 28. So if you want to use, generally when the rosters expand to 28, you call up one pitcher and one position player. As if Quinn Matthews is going to be that pitcher, so he's just about here. So if he pitches on Monday, 5 days after, basically it would be maybe one or two more starts at Memphis, and then he would be able to return. You could also do some other moves with the roster to keep him here. So I think we're very close to Quinn Matthews essentially being a full-time member of the rotation. I just don't totally know what that's going to look like. I think it makes sense just to go to a six-man at that point. You know, one of the reasons not to go to a six-man rotation is when you have just a clear frontline, top of the rotation starter who you don't want to have them pitching every sixth day. You want them pitching every fifth day because you don't want to miss out on umpteen number of starts from them over the year. Well, the Cardinals don't really have that. I mean, they got guys who are pitching quite well. This is not a shot at Michael McGreevy, Andre Palante, Kyle Leahy, none of them. I like what all of them have been doing, but none of those guys are going to get like the ace treatment if that makes sense. So once you can get Matthews up and the roster decisions make sense, I'm completely and totally fine with the Cardinals going to a six-man at that point. We got a few things to get to before we do call it a day. We'll get to our cut of the game. Our cut of the game is sponsored by The Diamond Shop, thediamondshop.net. And unfortunately on this one, you know what? We'll play the Suzuki home run for something else. Cardinals did not have a hit through the first 5 1/3 innings. It took Jose Fermin in the 6th inning for them to finally get on the board in terms of collecting a hit.
The 2-1 pitch on the way from Clay Holmes. Fermin sends it down the right field line, and it's going to drop in for the first Cardinal hit.
There you go. That's what we're going with. That will be our cut of the game, sponsored by The Diamond Shop, thediamondshop.net. Not only do the Cardinals only get a few hits today, they don't get any extra base hits, so it's a little bit tougher to find where we want to find that cut of the game. So instead, for our insurance run of the game, which is sponsored by Ramsey Insurance in Bowen, proudly representing auto owners insurance, that's where we're going to go with the Seiya Suzuki home run. Not only does it score the Cubs first run of the day and put them on top. But with 2 runners on, they get a couple insurance runs in there as well.
They had a chance with Horner at second in the 5th inning. The pitch is swung on in a high fly ball, deep left field. Fermin at the wall. It's out of here, a home run. A 3-run homer for Seiya Suzuki, and the Cubs are on the board in the 6th inning.
So that is our insurance runs of the game, the second and third runs, in addition to the first run of the game, all on one swing of the bat. Insurance run of the game, sponsored by Ramsey Insurance in Bowen, Illinois, proudly representing auto owners insurance. Who's on a Roll is sponsored by Circa Sports, sports betting the way it should be. So, again, the Cardinals don't get very many hits today, but one guy who has been swinging a much hotter bat recently and collecting one of the hits for the Cardinals today is Ivan Herrera. So he goes 1 for 4 with a base hit. Nothing to write home about, but I think it is notable to take a look at what he is doing in the month of August. Herrera in the month of August, he is hitting .294. He has an .804 OPS in the month. Now, we're still fairly early on in the month, but it is certainly good to see him getting back to an OPS that begins with the number 8. He had that in the month of April. He had that in the month of May. And that's when he is being really effective and he is helping you score a lot of runs. So that's what we're going to go with our Who's on a Roll, because he is putting together a very good month of August after he had struggled a little bit here recently, but he has seemingly found it, and that has been good to see. And then our final benchmark segment that we do here on the Extra Innings Show. Again, don't forget, we've got Redbird Rush Hour beginning after the 5 o'clock news, where Bernie's going to be here, and we're going to continue to talk through the news of the day. But By the Numbers being sponsored by Bank of Springfield. Bank boldly, bank with BOS, member FDIC. Let's just take an opportunity to appreciate the season that Joshua Baez has put up this year at AAA, because it has been rather remarkable. Baez is going to join the big league club sitting on 34 home runs on the season over his 79 games that he has played. His OPS is still above 900 at AAA this year, a 901 OPS, and we have seen him limit the strikeouts a bit here recently. Strikeouts have been a problem for him at times. The overall strikeout numbers this year for him, he's at 136 strikeouts to go along in the 410 at-bats that he has this year. So that is good news for the Cardinals. Joshua Baez, he is going to come up, and his numbers have been very, very good. By the Numbers is sponsored by Bank of Springfield. Bank boldly, bank with BOS, member FDIC. We'll start to wrap up this edition of the Circa Sports Extra Innings Show, as again, we'll just continue on with this conversation when we do roll right into Redbird Rush Hour. Not Kevin Wheeler, he's off today. Bernie Miklasz and myself, we are going to have that for you coming up in just a few minutes. Let's look at the line we have a couple more moments today before we get out of here. And again, we'll get some other comments as we do go along. We've got, Jeremy sends in a message, says Baez in the starting lineup tomorrow. What spot in the order will he bat? That's a fun thing to play out. I would guess 5th. Would that make? Because I don't think you're moving Weatherholt, Herrera, Burleson, or Walker. And I don't think it's bad. I don't think you need to give Baez the treatment of he walks in and you're batting him in the 8 spot or the 9 spot just because he's a rookie. So if I was making the lineup tomorrow, I think I'd put him 5th. I think that sends a message to him all at the same time. It sends the message that, hey, you're our guy. You're an important part of this team moving forward. We believe in you. We have expectations for you. So that's where I would bat him. I don't want to drop any of those other guys in the lineup. I don't want to drop Walker to 5th and put him in between Burt. I think that makes the most sense. And when you think about the high end potential of these guys, but you know what? I say all that. Would it surprise anybody if he's batting 7th tomorrow? If maybe he bats behind Wynn, because Wynn's been batting in the 6th spot. That's I don't think they want to be disrespectful to Wynn, where they're dropping him in the order as a result of Baez coming in. Maybe because Church was in the 5 spot today, maybe you're dropping Church in the order. So you leave Wynn at the 6 spot, you put Baez in the 5 spot. I don't know. We'll talk about it more. I'll get Bernie's take on that one as well. My initial reaction was 5th, but then as I knock over a drink in here, which is great. I don't know if that was heard over that. The good thing for me is I just did that and it did not go anywhere near our equipment. So our engineers should be very happy with that. It's good the show is ending because I've got cleanup on aisle 4 here in our studio. And then Bernie Miklasz, he's going to join me coming up in just a moment or so. It's the Cardinals falling short today against the Cubs by a 3-0 score, but also Joshua Baez getting called up. This has been the Circa Sports Extra Innings Show. Again, Redbird Rush Hour. It is on the way next, right here on KMOX.
The Diamond Shop, making St. Louis sparkle for over 100 years, offers a wide selection of engagement and wedding rings, fine jewelry, and watches to suit your style and budget. Visit us at 12 North Central Avenue or schedule a virtual appointment at thediamondshop.net.
Life is full of bold moments, like a graduation, a purchase of a home, or even a surprise check engine light. When life calls for bold purchases, you need a bank like BOS. BOS gives you the tools to manage short-term money needs and expert guidance for long-term financial goals. Because to us, banking is about helping people do more with their money. Are you ready for a better banking experience? Then make the bold move and switch to BOS today. Visit bankwithbos.com. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. All loans subject to credit approval.
Looking for something new? Lombardo Homes is excited to introduce 2 brand new opportunities in St. Charles County. Discover Crooked Creek at Cottleville Trails, featuring stylish new townhomes from the high 300s and access to incredible amenities that make Cottleville Trails one of the area's most sought-after communities. Or find the space you've been dreaming of at South Point Estates, where expansive 3+ acre home sites and top-rated Wentzville schools create the perfect setting for your custom dream home. Visit lombardohomes.com to learn more about these
Traffic from the michaelsflooringoutlet.com traffic center.
Well, we've got an injury crash right now on northbound Highway 270 north of Dorset, so just be prepared if you're headed that way. Northbound 270 north of Dorset, that we have restrictions there because of this crash. They're just pulling up. It looks like the 3 right lanes are blocked, so traffic is backing up through Dorset on northbound Highway 270 right now, so just be prepared if you are headed that way. If you are headed in other directions, of course, if you're going south on 270, it's not bad on a Friday. In fact, it's pretty wide open all the way down to 55. Westbound 64th Science Center out to McCausland's busy, and it backs up around Lake St. Louis Boulevard out to Highway 70 the way you normally see it. I'm Roger Brand at the michaelsflooringoutlet.com Traffic Center.
Celebrating 100 years of informing and entertaining. KMOX AM St. Louis, KMOX FM Hazelwood, the voice of St. Louis.
At 5 o'clock, we've got a cloudy sky downtown at the Arch. It is 93 degrees. It feels like 98. And
the heat is on.
It certainly is. So let's start off the news with KMOX meteorologist Dave Murray.
It's been an up and down summer with our temperatures, but this is the longest and most intense stretch of heat and humidity all summer long. It continues right through the weekend. Tonight, mostly clear skies, though I think it's a little bit hazy. It's warm, it's humid, 79 for the low. Evening temperatures in the 90s. Saturday, sunny, hot and humid, 100.
We'll have the complete forecast from Dave coming up at the end of the news. Nobody was hurt after a plane carrying 10 people went off the runway at Spirit of St. Louis Airport this afternoon. Emergency crews responded to the Chesterfield Airport about 3 p.m. after the airport suffered a mechanical issue before the craft took off, leaving it resting in the grass. It is the second time in 24 hours an aircraft has run off the tarmac at Spirit, though they happened at different spots along the runway. Charging documents reveal some information about the 2 teenagers accused of ambushing St. Louis City Police.
In the hours leading up to the shooting, 19-year-olds Alex Xavier Bishop and Justin Price took steps to conceal their location, according to charging documents. Here's U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Missouri, Thomas Albus.
They were planning to do something in terms of removing the license plate and turning off their location monitoring on their phones, etc.
The documents also reveal Bishop was an employee at BJC who declined to comment, and that he had 2 pounds of meth at his home, along with multiple boxes of ammunition and a large amount of cash. He was also arrested in Alton, Illinois, and charged on distributing meth. Price told police he was watching a movie at his mother's house the night of the shooting, despite surveillance footage placing him at a gas station in the Ford Fusion. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
A firefighter caught on camera defecating in a box at Lambert Airport in a food prep area is no longer employed by the fire department after a review of the incident. It happened on June 10th in the HMS Host prep area. The firefighter has been with the department since 1995. Fire Chief Dennis Jankerson declined to comment, calling it a personnel matter. No, before you go, in the Metro East.
IDOT's still planning on shutting down westbound 64 tonight. I'm Roger Brand. It's going to start at 9 p.m. They're going to close down westbound 64 from 255 to 18th Street. The ramps at 111 westbound will also be closed during this time. It's going to remain closed through Monday morning, the 24th at 5 a.m., so it's about 10 days. Westbound 64 is going to be shut down. Your alternate route is to take northbound 255 up to 5570, so plan accordingly, especially during morning rush hours.
The BMW Championship returns to Belle Reef Country Club next week for the first time in 18 years. The tournament brings the top 50 players in the world to St. Louis to compete for a $20 million purse. Tournament chair Ed Glotzbach tells Fox 2 the local response has been massive as they prepare the gallery for the opening tee times.
We're expecting a little bit over 35,000 a day for the 4 days of the championship.
Saturday's round is already completely sold out. In addition to the local crowds on the grounds, the tournament will be broadcast globally to 200 countries. Practice rounds begin on Tuesday. Lambert Airport's outgoing director is challenging the entire bi-state to break down our regional rivalries and mistrust and realize we're all in the same boat or plane. As she clears out her desk today, Rhonda Hondenbrigge says the airport has the potential to contribute a lot more to the state of Missouri's economy.
So I think we just have to keep looking forward and focus on what's the best path and how can we all collaborate together to make sure that we're successful as an entity, not as individuals or as different municipalities or different regions. We really do need to look at a more holistic view, I think.
Hondenbrigge and her husband, after today, head to Ireland and Scotland for an extended retirement vacation. Let's get the Wall Street Wrap now, sponsored by Stifel and Ophthalmology Associates. Stifel Director of Investments, Eric Robert, with us. How do we finish off the week?
Stocks slipped to finish the week. The S&P 500 closed 0.2% lower at 7,785. The Dow fell 107 points, or 0.2%, closing at 53,732. The Nasdaq declined 0.3%, closing at 26,729. That does leave the three major indices mixed for the week. The S&P 500 gained 0.4% this week. The Dow closed the week 0.6% lower, while the Nasdaq advanced 0.1% this week.
What's on the minds of investors to close the week?
Well, second quarter earnings season is nearly finished, and it has been a fantastic run for investors. More than 90% of S&P 500 companies have reported final second quarter results. Of those companies, 86% have beaten expectations, according to FactSet.
That is Stifel, Director of Investments, Eric Robert. Thank you. That's the Wall Street Wrap on KMOX.
Summertime continues this evening. Summertime continues all weekend long, but there is some hope for Monday. Mostly clear skies will only go down to 79. Saturday, sunny, hot, and humid, 100 for the high. The record 105. That's safe. Saturday night, clear, warm, and humid, 77. Sunday, sunny, hot, and humid, 98. Developing showers and thunderstorms Sunday night. And then Monday, 87. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Dave Murray on 104.1 FM. KMOX.
Extreme heat warning continues downtown at the Arch. We've got a blue sky. It's 93 degrees. The feels like is 97. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Traffic from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Well, we got a couple of jams due to crashes out there right now. I mentioned the one at the top of the hour, North 270, north of Dorset or south of the McKelvey Road overpass. That's a little closer to the McKelvey Road overpass, obviously. Only the two left lanes are open. Traffic's jammed almost all the way back to Page right now. The other crash we have is in Metro East, eastbound 5570, just before 159, a crash with lane blockage. It's a solid jam approaching 157. On the Illinois side, of course, you have the roadwork delays, westbound 5570, 255, most of the way to 203, and eastbound 64 between 157 and 159. Westbound Highway 70 is just a little slow west of A out through 61. That's not bad. Westbound 64, Science Center out to Clayton Skinkers heavy, backed up west of Lake St. Louis Boulevard out to 70. South 270, believe it or not, it's wide open. Eastbound 70 heavy, Earth City to 270. Eastbound 64 past the Interbelt's a little slow. And we had a crash on Old 21 at Blue Springs Road. That's the, I think that's the Schenck Road interchange. There's a jam up there that we had restrictions and multiple ambulances on the scene. Next update at 5:20 from the michaelsflooringoutlet.com traffic center.
News, traffic, and the latest on the Redbirds. This is the Redbird Rush Hour on KMOX.
Sponsored by Busey Bank. Building community with Busey Bank. Beyond the game. And by St. Luke's Hospital. St. Louis's #1 heart hospital.
And we do welcome in a Redbird Rush Hour here on KMOX. Alongside of Bernie Miklasz, I'm Matt Pauley. Great to have you with us as we are continuing our Cardinals post-game coverage and just Cardinals coverage overall. I'll have you in some form or fashion all the way until 8 o'clock this evening for a Sports Overline. But this hour, nothing but Cardinals, and we have some pretty fun news to get to as we do welcome Bernie Miklasz onto the show. Bernie, great to see you, and we got a couple things to talk about.
Yeah, letter J, what does that stand for?
I've got young daughters who like Sesame Street, so I can go home tonight and tell them J is for Joshua Baez.
Yeah, there you go. It's actually a Joplin, Missouri had a minor league team where Mickey Mantle played for him, but I'm changing that to J for Joshua tonight.
With all due respect to the good folks of Joplin, we'll let that go here for the day. So look, we got a lot of places we can go on this, but just what is your initial reaction to the news that Oliver Marmol dropped at the end of his media session today that Joshua Baez has been called up and he will be in the lineup tomorrow for the Cardinals?
I think it's really interesting. You know, I was hearing rumblings earlier this afternoon about, he might meet them in Cincinnati for that series. Now, I could have got some bad information, but I think a lot of things were being discussed. I think that's fair to say. But they accelerated the timetable. You know, I'm a little surprised they're going to drop him into Wrigley Field. They're going to parachute him in there. I like that, though. It adds to the drama. It's the Cardinals' big rivalry, right?
Yeah.
Wrigley Field, your first major league game, Wrigley Field against the team that St. Louis hates the most. Pretty cool.
It is really cool. And I wonder how quickly this might have moved because there was the social media. Is it Mike Rodriguez? Am I getting that right?
Yeah. I didn't write it down. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I think it was Mike Rodriguez, who's a guy who's been he's a Spanish-speaking individual who's been around baseball for a long time. He is a legitimate source. So when you saw this, you said, okay, maybe there's some legs to it. I sent a message to somebody that I would know connected to Memphis just maybe 10 minutes before Ali made the announcement. And the message I got back was he's on the lineup card as available off the bench tonight. So within 10 minutes of Ali making that announcement, he was still in Memphis, listed on the lineup card as being available. Now, maybe that's just something they do because, hey, there's media walking around the Memphis clubhouse. They don't need somebody taking a screenshot of Baez not being on the lineup card, and that's how they get it up. But there was no – I just get the sense – I'm trying to say I get the sense this maybe happened somewhat quickly.
You know, he had a big game last night, and he's been on a tear. I mean, he's been like since July 24th. I'll give the numbers later if we have time, but since July 24th, he's just been out of his mind. And it's not just hitting home runs and driving in runs and hitting for a high average and high slugging percentage. I'll just leave the number stuff at this. You know, over this stretch since July 24th, he greatly reduced his chase rate. He greatly reduced his strikeout rate. He improved his contact rate on strikes, stuff that the Cardinals really wanted him to do. Like he had an exceptional run showing Chaim Bloom and his people, okay, you wanted me to do this. Take a look at this. Now what? What do you see now? And they obviously were impressed by what he was able to do over the last 3 weeks. or so, or a little less than that, but very, very much impressed.
His power dropped a little bit when he made some adjustments, which that's normal. Right. You shorten up your swing, you reduce your bat speed, you do things like that. Power goes away. He's got a ton of power. I think one of the most intriguing things for me is, what does this look like at the big league level with where his swing is at this very moment?
Well, my friend, you nailed it. What the Cardinals did was basically say, listen, and this is one of their methods. This is how they've, Rob Cerfolio and Larry Day and all the people that have worked with prospects or have supervised prospects, that one of their big things is, having great bat speed is a fantastic asset, but sometimes it can actually work against you. They believe in, if a young hitter or any hitter is having a hard time with breaking pitches and off-speed stuff, because their bat's getting through the zone so quickly, they don't have time to adjust and say, oh, it's a breaking pitch. Mm-hmm. It's too late. Oh, it's a changeup. It's too late, because the bat's already through the zone. So if you slow the bat down a little bit, you can still adjust on the fly if you got quick reflexes, and you can hit a breaking ball, and you can connect with a changeup, and you can do some damage. And that's exactly what he was doing. The trade-off, and you mentioned this too, but you're absolutely right. The trade-off was, okay, you'll sacrifice a little power. Your slugging percentage will go down some, but it doesn't matter, because everything else about your hitting performance will improve if you do this properly and you slow your bat a little. That's exactly what happened.
And they do, when they're making adjustments with the slower bat speed, sometimes, Bernie, it works to a level where you're then able to bring the bat speed back, and you've worked on it to a point where all those things that you accomplished with the bat speed a little bit slower, you're now able to do with the bat speed picked up.
Right. And I did in fact, I was scrambling to get on the air here in time, because I was looking stuff up. And the one thing that I found, what they're going to do to Josh Baez, they're probably starting tomorrow. They always do it to young major leaguers who are coming up for the first time. It's like, okay, hey kid, can you hit a fastball? Can you hit this four-seamer? Can you hit this cutter? Can you hit this sinker? And once he proves he can, then they're going to tantalize him and confuse him and confound him and try to twist him in knots with sweepers and split finger pitches and stuff that moves. This thing, there's like the frisbee slider. I mean, all this nasty stuff, the stuff that's like snakes coming to you at home plate, slithering in. So then they're going to see, like, well, okay, well, we don't think you can hit these kind of pitches because you've never seen them from a major league pitcher before. And the interesting thing, and I'll go quickly here, the interesting thing was that he struck out a lot at AAA on breaking pitches and off-speed pitches. He did. He struck out a lot. But when he made contact, boom, he hit for a lot of power. So to me, the first real test, knowing what we know because of what happened in the minor leagues, the first real test will be the fastball. But the first real test will be when they start feeding him all these crazy breaking balls and off-speed pitches. Will he be able to fight it off? Will he be able to hold his own? Or will it put him into some kind of immediate downturn? That's the test for all rookie hitters, but especially a power hitter.
Do you think it's just a coincidence, or do you think there is a method in the madness with the Cardinals that when they just brought up Quinn Matthews to make his major league debut, he made it on the road? Now they're bringing up Baez. Admittedly, it's a hornet's nest that he's walking into at Wrigley Field, but it's still on the road, and they're going to be on the road for a while. Sometimes there's some pomp and circumstance that goes along with you making your debut at home. Is there value to these guys making their debuts away from St. Louis, or am I just looking into stuff?
No, man, you can make a case both ways. I mean, I just heard some rumblings maybe he'd join him in Cincinnati, but in recent days, I had become really confident that at the latest, or the most likely, I should say, it would be August 25th when the team returned home to Busch Stadium for a 6-game homestand, because of like, okay, let's get him set up at home and the fans will love him and blah, blah, blah. Well, on the other hand, they're one day into a 11 game road trip. They're one game into 11 game road trip. And if you have a young hitter coming to the major leagues for the first time, that's really valuable bonding time with his teammates. That's really valuable bonding time with his coaches and his manager. And yeah, I know that he knew them in spring training. We know that. But he can be surrounded by his boys, by his teammates, by his coaches. And when you're on the road, there are actually fewer distractions because the Cardinals are not a partying team at all. And there's, you'll have guys like Baez going into the hotel rooms of some of his teammates. They're going to look at tape. They're going to talk about things. He's going to ask for advice. You can really bond on the road as a young player, and that's a valuable experience.
Jeff Jones tweeted out a little while ago that Cesar Prieto's locker and equipment are being cleared out, so he'll be the corresponding move. So for folks that are really into the roster moves, nothing official yet, but it certainly would seem that Prieto's time is coming to an end for now.
Yeah, I think so. And I know we'll talk about this later, but the thing that excites me potentially, and we can get into this, in a bit. I know we got a break. The left field position for the Cardinals in 2026 has been terrible offensively. Terrible. And even Nootbaar couldn't solve it. Like he had a good first 3 weeks or so, but then he faded. If things go reasonably well, all of a sudden there's some muscle in left field. But again, that I can't assume that. I'm just saying if it goes reasonably well, he'll add some muscle immediately to that group that they've had, pretty weak group offensively, power-wise in left field.
That's Bernie Miklasz. I'm Matt Pauley. We are with you all the way till 6 o'clock. I'll continue with you after that till 8 o'clock on Sports Open Line. Bernie, before we go any further, though, can you share with us a little bit about our friends over at Saliga?
Yeah, Saliga Heating and Cooling is a Daikin comfort dealer that's been taking care of St. Louis families for generations, specifically since 1927. That's right. They're 100 years in. The same Saliga family. My friend Dan Saliga is the fourth generation owner-operator of this proud, distinguished family business that is all St. Louis, man. All St. Louis in terms of the background. But they do serve clients, of course, across the river in Metro East. They can help you in any number of ways. Emergencies, repair jobs, minor concerns, stuff going on. You hear noises from your system. You don't know what it is. You don't know if you need something new or something can be just tuned up, whatever. And they'll come to your home, Saliga Heating and Cooling, and you can trust them 100%. You can talk to them about anything. They never act like you're bugging them if you're asking questions. They will answer every question thoroughly, patiently, and address whatever your needs are as far as you wanting to find out about stuff like your options. And you never have to worry about them trying to rush you, fast talk you, twist your arm, upsell you, hustle you, whatever. No. Because the Saliga family reputation is on the line, and they feel, I've told you this before, every time they go into someone's home to check on heating or cooling, they have to earn trust. They have to reaffirm their credibility. So you benefit because it's a real thing. They really believe in that. So if you want to find out all their services, including the phone number and the maintenance club called the Priority Club, just go to SaligaHeatingandCooling.com, SaligaHeatingandCooling.com.
Traffic from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
This traffic report's a service of Scott Credit Union. They've just about wrapped up this crash north 270 south of the McKelvey Road overpass. They still have the right lane shut down. It's a solid jam, though, back pretty close to Page, so just be prepared. We still have this jam in Metro East as well, the crash eastbound 5570 before 159. It's a solid jam at 157. Westbound 5570, you've still got delays from 255 to 111, eastbound 64, east of 157 to 159. You've got some heavier traffic there. Eastbound 70, Earth City into 270, slow. Westbound 70, just kind of busy past 61. South 170, bogs down at Brentwood. Westbound 64, the only delays are out west. West of Lake St. Louis Boulevard to 70. Eastbound 64, just heavy through the Interbelt. Looks like we have an incident. Westbound 44, west of 141, a jam near the Merritt's pedestrian overpass because of that one. I'm Roger Brand in the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Think buying a home is out of reach? Think again. Scott Credit Union has down payment options as low as zero money down. Your new home could be closer than you think. Visit scu.org today. Equal housing lender, NMLS 415767. Terms and conditions apply.
Rhino Shield is far superior to even the best traditional exterior house paint. Rhino Shield is 8 to 10 times thicker than paint and comes with a 25-year transferable warranty. Rhino Shield is the only ceramic coating company that has been chosen by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where every episode is concentrated on unpainted brick, bonds and seals to stucco, wood, hardy, block, color lock, masonite, and more. No better product for those steel aluminum-sided homes that have become, chalky and tired looking. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. After 15 years, we've got a great reputation and a superior product. As long as it's affordable, why wouldn't you do it? Before you make the costly mistake of painting with traditional paint, you'd be best served to call Rhino Shield today. We are the experts and our evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, Mom, now that I have an after-school job, I think I want to buy a drum kit.
Okay, Rockstar. Let's look at your account.
When kids start making money, Chase has easy-to-use tools and expert bankers to help them learn how to manage it.
And next month, I'll buy the bass drum and the cymbals. Oh, and maybe some noise-canceling headphones for you.
Aw, you've thought of everything.
Help kids save, budget, and build financial independence, all with Chase. That's good for kids and good for parents. Visit your local Chase branch and get started.
Accounts subject to approval. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
When it comes to your health, having knowledge is powerful, as they say. And so if you could better understand what your risk was for chronic disease before you even have that first symptom, how powerful would that be? Siteman Cancer Center's Your Disease Risk, and that's what it's called, Your Disease Risk, provides personalized insights to help you understand factors that might increase or decrease your risk for chronic disease and cancer, whether that is environmental, whether it is genetic. With easy-to-understand information and prevention guidance, Siteman will help you take those meaningful steps toward a healthier future. Just a few minutes today could make a difference for years to come. Siteman.washu.edu/YDR. Siteman.washu.edu/YDR.
Now, back to the Redbird Rush Hour on KMOX. Sponsored by Busey Bank. Building community with Busey Bank. Beyond the game.
It's the Redbird Rush Hour right here on KMOX. That's Bernie Miklasz. I'm Matt Pauley. We are happy to be with you and glad that we're not talking so much about the Cardinals' 3-0 loss today. Although, Matthew Liberatore, Bernie, not bad.
Not at all. He was good. I don't know why. I put something on. No, I put
sorry.
some.
I know you didn't mean it that way, but the way that came out, it was funny.
Well, I'm glad. I'm glad. I'm glad it's funny because I was exasperated at one point. He's mowing them down, and I went on X and I said, "Could someone please explain Matthew Liberatore to me?" Because I kind of give up. I don't understand this. I mean, he looked like his idol Sandy Koufax at Toronto a couple weeks ago. Then then he got beaten around like a baby seal, the other night or a couple starts, and then today goes into Wrigley Field against a truly great Cubs offense, and he dominates those people. I mean, I don't get it. I don't understand it.
He got 7 swings and misses on his slider today, and he got 5 swings and misses on his curveball. And then when you look at what happened with the fastballs, they weren't pounded. So, I mean, there's your there's your 10-second assessment of what happened, but it was really the slider and the curveball and the swing and miss that went along with those today that allowed him to have success.
And Ollie Marmol talked to us on Gas House Gang Tuesday about this. I went directly talking to Ollie, and I said, listen, all three of his fastballs have been terrible this year, very hittable. And Ollie didn't even attempt to push back. He conceded that. Mm-hmm. But, he gave me the impression that a lot of this had to do with sequencing and when you call certain pitches. And to your point, to what you just told me that I didn't know about the swing and miss on the curve and the slider, it seemed to me that Ivan Herrera, and maybe there's some help from the dugout, seems to me, my only guess is that they did a really good job of sequencing that fastball into spots where maybe it would catch the Cubs off guard, where they were looking for something else. And if so, Herrera is good. He calls a good game behind the plate. And so if that's what happened, well, that was good work. It was really good work.
Yeah, I'm going to get baseball nerdy if you're okay with that, Bernie.
Sure, man.
So the slider today, he throws it 35% of the time. He throws it 33 sliders. He threw it for a strike 73% of the time. And he got 17 swings on it, 7 swings and misses. And then the curveball, threw it 26 times. That was 27% of his usage. Threw it about half the time for strikes, 12 out of 26, and got those 5 swings and misses. So I'm doing math real quick. 33 plus 26, that's just about 60 or so. 60 of his pitches were thrown today, right about the slider and the curveball. He only threw 2 cutters, 3 sinkers, and 19 four-seamers. So he really picked and chose his spots on the fastball.
That's what it was,
Yeah.
So I'm proud that mostly because of you, we've identified what happened. So
well,
we did. We've identified it.
If it was that simple, and I do, by the way, when Ivan Herrera started catching him, I do think that the usage and the sequencing got better, but Herrera has catched some stinkers from him too.
Yeah. He just can't throw. Everything else is there. Seriously, his blocking's fine. His framing's fine. I do think he does call a good game. I think he puts a lot into that. I think the pitchers like him too. Mm-hmm. They like throwing to him. But man, I don't mean to dwell on the negative because we were talking the positives about him. But man, that's now 60 for 60. The streak that goes back to September of 2024.
Yeah.
60 for 60 against Herrera, stolen bases. So, and Ollie made the point the other day, well, the stolen bases, they don't hurt us much when they steal bases on them. Well, it did hurt the Cardinals today. But overall, I think Ollie was correct about that point. But I think that's starting to change too, because I don't understand what the hell's wrong with major league managers who play the Cardinals, because if I see him behind the plate, heck, I'm going to tell my slowest guy, just take off. He's got no chance. Just run.
Yeah, well, what was Nico Horner doing today when he got his? We got to get to news, but what was Nico Horner doing today when he just stood at first base after he got the first hit of the day? Like, you just thought he would have been off right away. We might continue this. We might get back to Joshua Baez. We got lots of stuff to do. We don't have enough time to do it. The news with Michael Calhoun is up next here on KMOX.
Don't let tax refund worries hold you back. File now with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They'll find every credit and deduction to help you get every refund dollar you deserve, or your money back. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
At 5:30, this update is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. We've got some sunshine downtown at the Arch. It's 93 degrees, but the feels like is 96. And with our current extreme heat warning still in effect, KMOX Health Editor Fred Bottomer has some tips on how to handle any heat-related illnesses.
First off, we need to know the difference between heat stroke and heat exhaustion. Dr. Charlotte Albinson is the medical director of convenient care and virtual care for the BJC Medical Group.
So heat stroke is the more severe of the two, and heat exhaustion is a little bit less severe. Heat exhaustion, you'll have things like maybe heavy sweating, dizziness, nausea, maybe vomiting, muscle cramps and fatigue, things like that. Heat stroke really comes in when people start to get temperatures above 104 and potential brain dysfunction, things like confusion or agitation.
Dr. Albinson says for possible heat stroke symptoms, call 911 right away. For possible heat exhaustion concerns, talk to your doctor or go to a convenient care clinic or seek virtual care. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
Why did two 19-year-olds allegedly open fire on police officers conducting an unrelated traffic stop last month? While charging documents reveal little about the core motivation of Alexavier Bishop and Justin Price, U.S. Attorney Thomas Albus says their actions that night revealed intention.
They were planning to do something in terms of removing the license plate and turning off their location monitoring on their phones, etc.
Price, in an interview with police, claimed he was at his mother's house all night, despite footage at a gas station showing otherwise. Bishop was arrested in Alton, Illinois, on charges of distributing meth. In his home, police found 2 more pounds of meth, along with a large amount of cash and boxes of ammo.
ABC News, I'm Brian Clark. The FBI says homicides fell by 18% last year and dropped to their lowest level since the 1950s. President Trump on New York's Long Island said the federal government should get the credit.
We get no credit for it because they say, well, we get no credit for it. They like to take all the credit, but everyone knows.
A 3-judge panel of the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals ruled that the president's goal of ending gender-affirming care is not improper and cannot form the basis for quashing a subpoena against a provider of medical treatment for transgender teens. The Army's grounded all Apache helicopter flights as it tries to determine what caused a crash during a training exercise this week in Texas that killed 2 crew members. Luigi Mangione faces life in prison after pleading guilty to 2 federal charges in connection with the killing of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. He admitted to stalking and killing Thompson. His lawyers now want state charges dismissed. This is ABC News.
Silver Dollar City is unveiling its next massive expansion. The Branson theme park announces a new family roller coaster called Miners Mountain Express is coming in 2027.
You'll be dodging boulders and soaring through the sky.
Park President Brad Thomas says the project is part of an aggressive long-term financial commitment from ownership.
2 years ago, as we announced Fire in the Hole, we told you that we would be investing $500 million, that's $500 million, in these hills in the next decade. And we're well on our way. Between Fire in the Hole and the $150 million that opened this spring, please know the Ozarks are alive and thriving.
The new attraction is being manufactured by Germany-based Mack Rides. Once finished, it'll be the longest family coaster in the Midwest with more than a half-mile of track and a 3-minute ride time. Some major road construction to be aware of.
Well, in case you missed it, starting tonight, they're going to have westbound 64 closed from 255 to 18th Street. It starts tonight at 9 p.m. They're also going to have the ramps at 111 westbound shut down during this time, and it's going to last through Monday morning, the 24th at 5 a.m. So it's longer than a weekend closure. All next week, it's going to be shut down. The alternate route to take 255 north to 5570 west. So plan on some extra commute time, especially during the morning rush hour. Roger Brand, KMOX News.
And from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, for tonight, partly cloudy, warm, and humid. Could see a spot storm. Low temperature of 79 degrees. For Saturday, still hot, humid, high of 100. For tomorrow night, clear, warm, humid, low 79. For Sunday, sunny, hot, humid, high of 100. By the way, the record 103 set in 1936. Right now, sunshine 93. Feels like 96 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
The Cardinals' conversation doesn't end when the game does. Watch the Gas House Game, Redbird Rush Hour, Sports Open Line, and sports on a Sunday morning whenever and wherever you want. Plus, exclusive conversations with Cardinals manager Ollie Marmol, president of baseball operations Chaim Bloom, players, broadcasters, and baseball insiders. Subscribe today to the KMOX Sports YouTube channel because Cardinals fans deserve a front row seat.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, you're not alone. Most importantly, you don't have to live with it. Paramount Men's Medical Center restores men's sex lives in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, even when Viagra and Cialis don't work. Here's Dr. Simovitz, specialist in men's health.
Paramount Men's Medical Center's painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. 98% of patients see instant results right in the office.
Men are now lasting longer than they ever imagined. And the best part, at Paramount Men's Medical Center, your consultation and first treatment are free. Qualified patients even get their testosterone checked free. Call 314-720-8444. 314-720-8444. Take control of your sex life. Call now. 314-720-8444.
And Doug. Limu and I created a trick to help you remember that you can customize your car insurance and save with Liberty Mutual. You see, the shirts Limu and I wear are yellow, and yellow is the color of lemons. And lemons grow on trees, and trees provide oxygen. And oxygen helps us breathe, and breathing is how you live. And you can live more life when you save money by customizing your car insurance. I agree, Limu. It's really quite simple. Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
I'm not one to say I told you so, but I switched to Pure Talk over a year ago, and ever since, I've been telling people there's no better wireless company out there. Well, a few months ago, a massive survey was conducted. 123,000 people were asked to rate their wireless carrier in 4 categories: coverage, support, data, and overall value. Well, the results are in. Guess which wireless company was the only wireless company to get 5 stars in every category? Yeah, Pure Talk. 5 stars, every category. To celebrate, Pure Talk is offering the first 3 months of any plan for just $15 a month, including their top-tier unlimited plan. No contract, no commitment, just a very inexpensive way to test drive the only American wireless company with 5 stars in every category. Just dial pound 250, say micro, and Pure Talk's U.S. customer service will take it from there. Again, pound 250 micro. And yes, I told you
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
And Doug. Limu and I created a trick to help you remember that you can customize your car insurance and save with Liberty Mutual. You see, the shirts Limu and I wear are yellow, and yellow is the color of lemons. And lemons grow on trees, and trees provide oxygen. And oxygen helps us breathe, and breathing is how you live. And you can live more life when you save money by customizing your car insurance. I agree, Limu. It's really quite simple. Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
FanDuel is giving new customers up to $1,000 in bet resets. New customers place a $5 bet each day and receive up to $200 in bet resets, up to $1,000 total. And with baseball every day, always another game and another matchup to get in on. Whether you're betting money lines, player props, or same-game parlays, FanDuel has you covered. Place your daily $5 bet and unlock up to $1,000 in bet resets. FanDuel.com/Missouri. Must be 21 or over and present in Missouri. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Minimum $5 wager required for 5 consecutive days. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bet reset tokens. Refund from token issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Max refund $200 per day. Restrictions apply, including token expiration. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Don't miss Mosby Building Arts Home Improvement Shows Saturdays from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on KMOX. One of the last call-in shows where you can get live answers to your remodeling, design, and construction questions. Tune in Saturdays at 11 a.m.
Hey, it's Brew, and I feel like everything in my life depends on being connected. Whether I'm uploading a video, hopping on a call before my show, or video chatting with my family back in Michigan, I never have to think about my Wi-Fi. And that's why Xfinity stands out. You get the most reliable, fiber-powered Wi-Fi with the best equipment at one price for 5 years guaranteed. No contracts or commitments. Plus, you can get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. Use of fiber or coaxial cable. Learn more at xfinity.com/same-day Wi-Fi. Xfinity. Imagine that.
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM KMOX. Traffic from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
We got some trouble on westbound 44 right now. This traffic report to service on McKelvey Homes. I can't tell if it's a stall or a car that lost a wheel. It's up against the median wall, so the left lane is blocked. It's westbound 44, about a half mile west of 141, maybe 3/4 of a mile. Traffic is jamming at Bowles right now on westbound 44. The right lane's just partially blocked north 270 south of McKelvey from the earlier crash. Traffic is thinned out through the area, though. Westbound 64, a little slow through McCausland. Still backed up west of Lake St. Louis Boulevard to 70. Eastbound 64 sort of slow past 170. Other than that, on the Illinois side, you just got some delays. Westbound 5570, 255 about midway into 111, and eastbound 64 backed up midway between 157 and 159. Next update at 5:50 from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
McKelvey Homes is breaking ground on something new in O'Fallon, Strawberry Farms. When McKelvey builds something, they do it right. Visit McKelveyHomes.com to schedule a tour at Strawberry Farms in O'Fallon. Visit McKelveyHomes.com today and move up to McKelvey.
It's 5:41 in Mid-America. The time check being brought to you by Paramount Men's Medical Center.
Now, back to the Redbird Rush Hour on KMOX.
Sponsored by Busey Bank. Building community with Busey Bank. Beyond the game.
Back at it, it's the Redbird Rush Hour here on KMOX. My name is Matt Pauley. That's Bernie Miklasz. We've got you for another 20 or so minutes, and we're spending the vast majority of the program today on the news that we learned that Joshua Baez is indeed a St. Louis Cardinal. He is being called up, and he's going to be in the lineup tomorrow. Bernie, I got this question during postgame, so let me throw it at you because I think it's an interesting one. And we sometimes make too much of the lineup, but people want to know, where is he going to hit? My initial reaction was fifth. Now, then I wonder, there's some other things like they want to be so respectful to Mason Wynn, so I don't think they're going to move Wynn down in the lineup, so you have to do some other things. But my initial reaction was fifth. What say you?
Well, it should be fifth because that's been kind of a spot all year where they're looking for that smooth fit, the fit that makes the most sense. And, you know, I hate to even say this because I'm assuming, like you, that he won't bat fifth. And the reason I say I hate to say that is because I've been around too long, and I've seen, you know, Cardinals managers, and I've certainly seen it with Ollie. It's like a guy's coming to the big leagues, and I've never understood the mentality where you, especially a kid like this who led all the minor leagues in home runs and, you know, had just unbelievable number of extra base hits and all that. And he can actually help transform your offense. But he comes to the big leagues, and the first thing you do, if in fact you don't bat him fifth, the first thing you do is you put him near the bottom of the lineup. You treat him like a little baby, you know? I always thought that was just a strange message to send to a first-time major leaguer.
Yeah, especially one who you rely on. I think the better message is you're our guy, and you're responsible for us scoring runs.
Exactly, and you know who would welcome that, and he wouldn't flinch from that is Joshua Baez. He wants that. He's a tough-minded kid, man. So I hope they don't do the baby treatment tomorrow. Oh, we're going to bat you seventh or eighth just to take some of the pressure off. Let him go up there and swing the damn bat.
Yeah.
Nobody could do that today at Wrigley Field. Three lousy hits.
All singles. Not extra base hit.
Two walks. I mean, I know Clay Holmes is a good pitcher. You know, he has been. But, you know, my gosh, I had to look. I thought I was seeing some old Mets highlights, highlights of like Tom Seaver pitching or something. The Cardinals offense this season makes ordinary pitchers look like you would think they're on the way to Cooperstown.
They do. And that's been a thing for a long time, but this year it does seem like it's accentuated. And it's not apples to apples because a midseason call-up and starting the season are two very different things, but they gave J.J. Weatherholt the leadoff job from Jump Street. They said, you're our leadoff hitter, and you're going to be our leadoff hitter for the next 10 years. 8 years, however long things. Give it to Joshua Baez. Tell him you're our RBI guy. You're our power guy. You're our middle of the order run producing guy. Welcome to the bigs.
And 5 is the ideal place for him. And frankly, and this applies to Mason Wynn, and I love Mason Wynn, but at this point, man, you know, you got to get over hurt feelings. Like a guy might not want to move down a spot. So what?
Yeah.
And you don't want to move. You don't want to move down a spot. Well, here's an idea. Put up a better hitting performance.
And you don't have to move Wynn down either. You can easily put him where Church batted today, leave Wynn in the 6th spot, and put Church at 7. That's fine. In fact, that's kind of what I think. If they end up batting him 5th, I think they'll move Church down before they'll move Wynn down.
I was thinking during the break, and I typed something in at the end of a column I just put up on my X account. I said, man, I got one request of Baez. It's probably not fair. It's like, hit your first home run at Wrigley Field. And then I invoked the name of the late, great Mike Shannon, because I could hear his voice. You know, when Baez would come up to the plate, he'd say something like, and I can't do the impersonation, so I apologize, but he'd say something like, go pay a visit to Waveland, big boy. You know, something like that, right? So I want to say that. Go pay a visit to Waveland, big boy. That would be fun.
It would be. Let's have that happen tomorrow. I also think it's important to note that every time we have one of these moments where a guy who's going to be part of the core moving forward, it was exciting when Quinn Matthews made his start. It was exciting when J.J. Weatherholt began the season on the team. This is such a stacked organization right now, and we're seeing more and more of these players graduate to the big leagues, and it's a reason for Cardinals fans to be excited. That doesn't mean don't worry about what's going on this year. Don't still hope for the playoffs this year. None of that. But it's okay to take a step back and just start to dream a little bit on what this can look like in years moving forward.
I think this is a big day because, pardon my drama, but I really mean this in my heart. This is the first real triumph of the Chaim Bloom Group's player development system, their player development operation. Now, some people might say, well, wait a minute, Weatherholt's a rookie. They started right. No, but he was never a project. He would, even though he wasn't literally a major leaguer on day one of his professional career, he could have been a major leaguer on day one. There was nothing there. They just wanted to get him experience. There was no project. Joshua Baez was a major project. They drafted him out of high school. His first couple years in the minors were brutal. There was some talk they wouldn't even put him on their 40-man roster. He was drowning at Double-A early last season, drowning. And the people that Chaim Bloom and Rob Cerfolio and Larry Day put in place, they shut him down. They remade him. They worked in the lab with him. They fixed him, and his career took off. This is the first triumph of the Chaim Bloom player development operation. That's a big deal to me.
That's Bernie Miklasz. I'm Matt Pauley. One more break. We'll come back. We'll wrap up this edition of the program. You're locked into the Redbird Rush Hour on KMOX.
This is the run my own business dream. This is the college is paid for dream. This is the retire early dream. This is Busey, where your dreams and possibilities become moments. Through trusted guidance and expertise, through lifelong relationships. Because we're here to help you achieve the life you've always envisioned. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868. Member FDIC.
Hey guys, this is Kevin Wheeler, and look, when it comes to things that I'm not an expert in, I find someone who is, and I trust them. This is why I'm telling you, if you're looking to sell your home, you should be calling St. Louis real estate expert Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. The reasons are pretty straightforward and simple. She sells homes faster and for more than the average agent. Who doesn't want to get this process over with quickly and get the best price? She has the database of thousands of buyers in waiting, a proven system that she walked me through a couple of months back, and it's fascinating. It works, and she's got those results from over 20 years in the business. Plus, you get upfront written guarantees with Gloria Liu. She will sell your home at a price and time frame acceptable to you, or she will buy your home herself. Okay, that's one written guarantee. The other option is she will sell your home at 100% of market value or pay you the difference. You cannot lose. Trust me, the expert I trust here is Gloria Liu. 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888, or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. As always, seller and Gloria must agree on price and possession date.
Traffic from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Well, good news. They just cleared that stall that was in the left lane, westbound 44, west of 141. Traffic still jams approaching Bowles through 141, but it's opening up pretty quickly. I would imagine that jam will thin out pretty quickly as well. If you're on westbound 64, it's a little slow at Clayton Warson, and after that, approaching Prospect out west. Eastbound 70 coming in through Forestell just looks a little heavy at this point in time. And on the Illinois side, westbound 5570 backed up 255 to a black lane, then it opens up. And eastbound 64, the delay's closer to 159 than 157, and of course, once you get past 159, you're back on track. Next update at 5:59 from the michaelsflooringoutlet.com traffic center.
Brought to you by Eamon Gantner and Capriano, yourestateMatters.com. Hi, Margaret with Eamon Gantner and Capriano. How's your family? Do you have a legal plan for them when you're gone? Eamon Gantner and Capriano, yourestateMatters.com.
The choice of an attorney is an important decision and shouldn't be based solely on advertising. Soldiers Memorial Military Museum looks at American military history through the lens of St. Louis. From the Revolutionary War to the present day, the gallery showcases stories of local service members and delve into the city's wartime history. Outside, the Court of Honors includes monuments to those who lost their lives in World War II, Korea, and Vietnam. Open Wednesday through Sunday. Admission is free. Find information about special exhibits at mohistory.org/memorial. That's mohistory.org/memorial.
Now, back to the Redbird Rush Hour on KMOX.
Sponsored by Busey Bank. Building community with Busey Bank. Beyond the game.
Just a few minutes left on this edition of a Redbird Rush Hour on KMOX. That's Bernie Miklasz. I'm Matt Pauley. Bernie, before we get out of here, there was a flashpoint in this game today where the Cardinals got really good work from Matthew Liberatore. It looked like he was running out of gas, and the Cardinals did go to George Soriano, who for the most part has been very good this year, but also seemingly has run out a little bit of gas. His effectiveness here in the last couple months has not been what it was for the first half of the season. I saw you mention some stuff on social media. I know you've got some thoughts on the Soriano move today, because very quickly after he came in, Suzuki hits the 3-run home run.
Yeah, listen, I give credit to the Apple crew because they were all over it. The fact that Soriano, who has done a good job, and Soriano is a right-handed pitcher, but the usual platoon splits don't apply to him. Before today, left-handed, hitters, he did a great job against left-handed batters. 299 slug and a 538 OPS. But right-handed, this is before today, right-handed hitters have crushed him. 494 slug, 853 OPS. I'm not sure what Ollie was thinking there, unless he was just trying to avoid another pitcher. So if you look at it today, and you're right, he has been fading. If you look at it today, his last 13 appearances, he's given up, including today, 13 appearances. He's given up 5 home runs in 12 1/3 innings. Mm-hmm. I mean, wow, that's a lot. And his ERA over that time is 5.10. So listen, he's never pitched this much before in a season. I think it's catching up to him a little bit.
That happens. There's nothing wrong with that happening. And we don't have time for this conversation right now, but I think we should spend some time this offseason. The Cardinals are so very good at keeping their starting pitchers healthy, and they do it at times by being overly aggressive with where they take guys out. But I do think the cost of that sometimes is the usage of your bullpen. And they were already going to be in a spot based off the profile of their starting pitchers where the bullpen was going to be used a lot. You combine that with the fact that they are being as aggressive as they are, and then you have somebody like George Soriano, who's never pitched this much and certainly has never pitched in leverage like this ever in his career. It's just, it's a perfect storm.
Well, you're 100% right. And if I have one minor criticism of Chaim Bloom, the way he put the roster together, and I completely understand what this season was supposed to be about, I still think he left his bullpen a little short. I think they could have found somebody else to plug in there, would have given him some extra depth. Now, I can't blame them, for example, for the fact that Matt Swanson, who was great last year, all of a sudden he didn't know how to pitch anymore. That's not their fault. That slider of his,
sinker too.
Sinker. I meant to say. Yeah, that's what I'm sorry. Thank you. Yeah, that thing just died on him. But they were sort of caught shorthanded, and they were assuming things like, oh well, Chris Roycroft, we're going to give him a chance. He'll be good. I would have liked to have seen him add one veteran of substance, because when they did that with Justin Brule, it was actually a really good move that has paid off. And I'm with you. I know Ryan Stanek with the walks drives people crazy. I get it. But after a really rough start for the Cardinals, he's been really good for months now.
Sub-3 ERA since May 1st.
There you go. Yeah. So I don't know. They look, with the payroll as low it is, they certainly had room to accommodate another, $3 million reliever or something.
Bernie, great stuff. Have a wonderful weekend. We'll talk on Monday.
Love being with you here, man. Thank you.
That's Bernie Miklasz. I'm Matt Pauley. Sports Open Line next on KMOX.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Tech, sponsored by Ethos.
Apple is working on a new home device that Bloomberg says looks a lot like rival products from Amazon and Google. The report says Apple's Smart Hub will have a 7-inch square display designed for FaceTime video conferencing, home security monitoring, and an intercom system that can connect with multiple devices. Apple will also integrate Siri AI into its Smart Hub, which is expected to launch by early 2027. I'm Jason Brooks.
Back to school season is here, and Dollar General has everything you need to start the school year strong. Don't forget to grab a pair of bright yellow sunglasses from the Yellow Glasses Project for just $2. Every purchase makes a difference, with 100% of proceeds helping support teachers, classrooms, and nonprofit organizations working to improve reading and literacy skills across the country. Stop by Dollar General today and shine bright with the Yellow Glasses Project, available now at Dollar General. The Yellow Glasses Project is a program of the Dollar General Literacy Foundation.
What do parents think of back to school at Staples, where supplies start at just 25 cents?
Staples has the latest laptops with up to 40% savings.
I may hug the cashier.
So embarrassing.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
It's a wonderful time at Staples with up to 40% off select tech. Staples.
That was easy.
Visit Staples today or shop online and in the app. Ends 9/12. Exclusions apply.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run, because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Give the gift of a magical experience at St. Louis Union Station when you take a real train ride journey to the North Pole aboard the Polar Express. Meet Santa and experience the magic of the Polar Express story with hot chocolate, treats, music, and sing-alongs. For those that truly believe in the spirit of Christmas, head down to St. Louis Union Station this year. Book your golden ticket before they sell out at stlpolarexpressride.com.
Doug. Limu and I created a trick to help you remember that you can customize your car insurance and save with Liberty Mutual. You see, the shirts Limu and I wear are yellow, and yellow is the color of lemons. And lemons grow on trees, and trees provide oxygen. And oxygen helps us breathe, and breathing is how you live. And you can live more life when you save money by customizing your car insurance. I agree, Limu. It's really quite simple. Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Traffic from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Well, the highways aren't bad to wrap things up for the evening. I mentioned in the last report they cleared that stall. We had westbound 44 west of 141. There's a couple of slow spots approaching Bowles through the 141 area, but it's certainly not jammed. We have an incident on westbound 64 before you get to Clayton Warson. It looks like they were trying to clear it to the shoulder, but there's a backup on westbound 64 at McKnight right now out to that. Not a solid jam, but it's pretty busy. And then westbound 64 is just slow out in the Wentzville area as you ramp on to westbound 70. On the Illinois side, westbound 5570 has thinned out from 255 to 111. That looks good. In eastbound 64, there's just some slow traffic. Again, it's closer to 159 than it is 157, and it's just a slowdown headed up the hill into Fairview Heights, not a jam. I'm Roger Brand at the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
The trusted voice of St. Louis. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
ABC News, I'm Brian Clark. Luigi Mangione faces life in prison after pleading guilty to federal charges from the 2024 killing of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson in New York. Mangione's supporters were in the courtroom today, and that led New York City's Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch to say,
"To those who idolize Luigi Mangione, I say this: violence is not a cause, murder is not a message, and a killer is certainly not a hero."
Mangione's attorneys want the state murder charges dismissed. The FDA says its personnel are on site at a facility in Mexico while investigating the source of the cyclosporiasis that sickened thousands of people. Critics say the FDA waited too long to send investigators. The FDA says this is the appropriate time in the investigation. The Pentagon's investigating what caused an Apache helicopter to crash near Fort Hood in Texas, killing 2. It's now ordered all Apaches grounded. This is ABC News. Just days after classes began, 2 schools in Santa Fe, New Mexico were placed on lockdown, but the threat was not caused by a person.
A devastating drought across New Mexico and wildfires raging beyond the city limits have driven wildlife into population centers.
Over the last several days, we've had at least 4 to 5 reports involving bear activity.
Santa Fe Deputy Police Chief Lawrence Barnett says a bear was spotted Thursday near a pair of schools.
Both schools were placed in the shelter-in-place.
The bear was later shot with a tranquilizer, loaded onto a truck, and relocated outside of town. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
Amazon founder Jeff Bezos has made his first foray into professional sports ownership. He's part of a consortium that's buying a stake in one of the world's most storied teams, 20-time English soccer champions Liverpool. The deal reportedly values Liverpool at about $6 billion. I'm Brian Clark, ABC News.
At 6:02, we've got sunshine downtown at the Arch. Right now, 92 degrees. The feels like is 96. And so let's start off with KMOX meteorologist Dave Murray with a first look at the forecast.
No relief at all from our dome of summer. Partly sunny, hot, and humid. Just a tiny chance of a spot storm tonight. Mostly clear skies, though hazy skies. It's warm, it's humid, 90s during the evening. 79 for the low. Saturday, sunny, hot, and humid, near 100, 99, 100.
We'll have the complete forecast from Dave Murray coming up at the end of the news. New details show Taco Bell was far from the main recipient of recalled Taylor Farms lettuce. Here's KMOX Health Editor Fred Bottomer.
A new FDA report reveals that less than 3% of the recalled produce went to Taco Bell's parent company, despite early attention focusing heavily on the chain. Instead, Walmart received nearly half of the 236,000 recalled cases under its MarketSide brand. Over 29% went to Taylor Farms' own label, with the rest split among food distributors and chains like Subway and Jack in the Box. The lettuce was pulled over potential contamination with Cyclospora, a microscopic parasite that infects the intestines and can cause weeks of severe watery diarrhea and stomach cramps. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
What do we know about the intentions of the 2 men arrested and charged for opening fire on police officers and federal agents during a traffic stop last month?
Well, no motivation was given for the actions of 19-year-olds Alexavier Bishop and Justin Price. Charging documents revealed deliberate steps were taken to conceal themselves on the night of the shooting. U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Missouri, Thomas Albert, says Bishop and Price took specific actions to conceal their whereabouts, showing some form of intent.
Removing the license plate and turning off their location monitoring on their phones, etc. And the investigation into their specific motive continues.
The plates belonging to the Ford Fusion, abandoned after the shooting, were located inside of the vehicle. Bishop was arrested earlier this month on charges of distributing meth in Alton, Illinois. At his home, 2 more pounds of meth were found, along with boxes of ammunition and a large amount of cash. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
The BMW Championship brings an elite field of golfers to Belle Reef Country Club next week, but the region's hospitality industry might be the region's biggest winner beyond the tournament's $20 million prize purse. The event is delivering a massive influx of cash to the St. Louis area. Researchers at Washington University crunched the numbers on projected local spending.
The number is somewhere between 50 and 60 million, but that's just the direct economic impact of, meals and hotels and people who will come to the championship.
Tournament chair Ed Gottsbach anticipates roughly 35,000 fans will pass through the gates each day. Saturday passes are already sold out. The St. Louis Battlehawks might be the crown jewel of the UFL when it comes to attendance, but the number of people who came out for this season dropped 21%. Now the league announces it will increase spending for marketing. The UFL's Mike Pauley says St. Louis will have more resources for local staff, payroll, interns, agencies, more field marketing, getting the players around town. Pauley is apologizing to Battlehawks fans for what he calls an underinvestment because he was shifting resources toward the league's newest markets. According to the Business Journal, the league is also investing more in marketing for the DC Defenders, where attendance dropped 31%.
Riders, keep your lamps lit and your hopes high.
To make room for a massive new roller coaster coming in 2027, Silver Dollar City is saying goodbye to a longtime fan favorite. The park's new Miners Mountain Express will take over the footprint currently occupied by the classic Aero Mine Train coaster Thunderation. Park President Brad Thomas.
Countdown is on. Just a little over 4 months, and Thunderation goes away. But it's okay. 33 years of history, 33 years of stories, 33 years of kids riding with grandparents. But if you want to ride it, you have 4 months to ride it, and then Thunderation goes into the history books.
The new 2027 coaster replacing it features 2 lift hills, 15 moments of weightlessness, and a tower from an old mine in Jefferson County near St. Louis. But before construction completely takes over the site, the current mine train will finish out the park's fall and Christmas festivals. Let's finish out this commute, hopefully with the help of Captain Roger Brand.
Yeah, it's not bad on the highways, Michael. We just have a couple of slow spots. Westbound 64, they were clearing an incident near Clayton-Warson. Traffic sort of bogged down through McKnight. It was jammed 10 minutes ago, so it's already improving. The ramp lanes, South 270 getting onto Highway 70 are backed up at the Rock Road. Road work going on eastbound 370 east of 141. It's down to 1 lane, only the right lane's open, so it's backed up from 141 most of the way into St. Louis Mills. Northbound Lindbergh headed up to North Waterford. There's a pretty good sized jam there. The rest of the highways are thinned out, but we need to talk about your USPS Ground Advantage reliable route for traffic on westbound 64 starting Monday, because Monday morning they're going to have it, tonight they're going to have it shut down starting at 9 p.m. and it's going to last through all next week to the following Monday. Westbound 64 is going to be closed between 255 and 18th Street, so your detour, your USPS Ground Advantage reliable route is to take northbound 255 up to 5570 westbound to get around that closure. And again, that begins tonight at 9. I'm Roger Brand in the Michael's Flooring Outlet.com Traffic Center.
Come on, let's get going now.
From KMOX Sports.
We're primed and ready. All day, baby. Man, let's go.
This is the Gray Bar Sports Open Live. Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs. On 104.1 FM, KMOX.
All right, we do welcome you in. It's a Gray Bar Sports Open Line right here on KMOX. My name is Matt Pauley. Great to have you with me as well, we've been together a lot today. We've been together a lot. When it has not been John Rooney, Ricky Horton, Mike Claiborne with you, it has been me in some form or fashion since about 12 noon. So that's good. That's good. It's a good Friday here on KMOX. And if you're sick of hearing my voice, I'm sorry. You got 2 more hours of it. But it's a very different world that we're living in right now than the one that we were living in this afternoon when we popped on with Gas House Gang at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. We did not know at 12 noon today that we would be spending the latter portion of the day talking about the big news, that is Joshua Baez being called up by the Cardinals. They have not officially given us the roster move. Oliver Marmol acknowledged in his postgame media session today that Baez is getting the call up, so it's official in that sense that the manager of the team said it. It was widely reported that Cesar Prieto's locker in Chicago was being cleared out, so you don't have to be a brain surgeon to know that Baez is here, Prieto is going away, and there you go. So, that's good news. That is good news, and it's gonna be fun to see what this looks like here moving forward with Baez. And a lot of talk about where he's going to be in the lineup. That's what we're talking about towards at the end of Redbird Rush Hour. In fact, John even sends in a message on the stream, says, Matt, you mentioned the Rush Hour. Your thoughts of them batting Baez 5th and win 6th tomorrow. They will not have 2 right-handed hitters follow Jordan lineup. Church will either be 5th or 6th. John, you're probably right because they are concerned with that. I guess my response would be this whole right-left thing. It's not scoring you any runs right now. You had 3 hits today, so go build the lineup as best as you can on the profile of the hitters. And I would be more concerned about guys walking into spots that are sort of where they're going to be for the long term in terms of trying to keep the right-left thing going on. But there is some value in that for sure.
Nathan Church has 26 at-bats above the 7th spot this season.
Okay.
So he hasn't really batted higher than 7th. So I think there's some room there for Baez potentially being in the 5th or 6th spot.
Yeah, and maybe I value stuff differently than other people. I do value stuff differently than other people. I know that. And I'm probably wrong because there's people who are a lot smarter than me who value things in different ways than me. I don't value right now with where this team is at the righty-lefty thing over some other stuff. But they may go in that direction. So just wanted to appreciate John's comment on that, and we'll continue this conversation moving along. That was Matthew Rocchio's voice, by the way, that you heard just a moment ago. Should have introduced him as he's going to be with me for the course of the program tonight. This is what we've got coming up. We've got... We'll talk a fair amount Cardinals baseball, obviously, but we do have a number of things that we do have planned beyond. Gabe DeArmond from Power Mizzou is going to be with us. There's a really odd situation playing out with Mark Mitchell, and I think it's pretty clear he has played his final day as a Missouri Tiger, but the bigger question is, has he played his final game as a college basketball player? He is part of the group of people that are trying to take advantage of the combination of the 5-5 deal that the NCAA is moving forward with, plus the injunction originally from a Colorado judge that opened up the door for a class of 2022 members to get an unexpected extra year of eligibility. But for some individuals, it takes another court situation, and he has been in court. There was a hearing today. A judge is not making a final decision on his eligibility. That's going to come at some point next week. It has become very clear that if Mitchell does receive another year of eligibility, he's going to end up at the University of Kentucky. I think that seems to be the route that it's going on right now, but Gabe will talk about that with us coming up in just a little while. Also on the show, Brendan Schaefer, our good friend, Cardinals beat writer with MLB.com. He is going to be with us at about 6:35 next hour. This is going to be fun. We're going to talk a little Lindenwood football. Their head coach, Jed Sturgis, is going to be with us at 7:05, and we'll talk some City SC next hour, as well as Jen Cease, our own Jen Cease, our City SC reporter. She's going to have our Friday conversation. We try to lock Jen into a Friday spot. That's kind of her spot, but the Cardinals are generally playing on Friday nights, so we've had to be a bit more creative at times. But Jen, right back into her normal Friday position. We'll talk City SC with her. That's going to be coming up at about 7:20 or so. Outside of that, we're talking Cardinals baseball, and we're here for you. So if you want to chime in on what we are talking about as this whole Baez situation, got a text message mentioning the fact that tomorrow with the Cardinals facing off against a lefty in Matthew Boyd, it might even be Jose Fermin anyways in the lineup as opposed to Nathan Church. And that's a good point. They will have the versus lefty lineup in there tomorrow. So you would think Fermin's going to be in there and probably in the outfield because you're probably playing Blaze Jordan at third base tomorrow. So I'm more concerned about what it's going to look like long term as opposed to just tomorrow.
I'm also wondering about what do we think the reaction is going to be should he continue to have the strikeout issues he had in the minors, because we saw how the fan base didn't have a lot of patience, I'll say, for Jimmy Crooks.
Yeah.
And he was putting up by weighted runs created plus. He actually had a better season this year in the minors than Baez did. I know obviously the 34 home runs are eye-popping, but Jimmy Crooks was tearing the cover off the ball. He struggles here, and people were ready to cut bait after a month. And so I'm just wondering, will people's reaction around any struggles for Baez be any different? Have they learned from Crooks? Are they going to treat it differently?
No, it's exhausting. It's exhausting. People, The Cardinals are the dumbest organization in the world. How in the world is this guy not up? How is this guy not in the... Look at the AAA numbers. Look at his OPS. Look at his slugging percentage. Oh, my... These guys... Chaim Bloom, fire Chaim. He's leaving Joshua Baez down. He's leaving Jimmy Crooks down. He's leaving Brian Torres down. What are they doing? This is crazy. Look at the numbers they're putting up at AAA. And then they get here.
I feel like I may have struck something here.
Oh, it's just... Let these guys, it's more than the numbers. It's more than the numbers. It's when they're ready. And I think the organization thinks that Joshua Baez is ready. Awesome. They thought that Jimmy Crooks was ready. He has not done much. And this wasn't under Chaim Bloom, but the exact same people who don't want Nolan Gorman anywhere near this organization are the same people who 2-3 years ago were like, what are they doing? Why is he still there? Get him. So just pump the brakes, people. Pump the brakes. They'll trust people who have dedicated their entire professional careers and have gone to the highest level of their professional careers. Trust them to make the right decision on when somebody is ready. And it's better to maybe wait a little bit longer than the other side of it. All right. We'll talk some kind of Mizzou athletics, but definitely Mark Mitchell situation. Gabe DeArmond from Power Mizzou. He's going to join us coming up in just a moment. It's a Gray Bar Sports Open Line on KMOX.
If you're listening to KMOX, I bet you're a baseball fan. So if you've got a feeling about who's going to hit a home run today, don't just sit on it. FanDuel wants you to call your shot with daily dingers. All you have to do is make your pick on who's hitting a home run. And if you're right, you get a profit boost to use on your next bet for a shot at bigger winnings. Now, when your favorite slugger hits that walk-off, you're going to feel like a winner, too. Daily Dingers on FanDuel, free to play, and you can lock in a pick every day of the MLB season. That's why FanDuel is the home for home runs. So are you ready to play your game? Check out Daily Dingers at FanDuel.com/Missouri. FanDuel.com/Missouri. Big hits can mean bigger winnings on FanDuel, an official partner of MLB. Must be 21 or over and present in Missouri. No purchase necessary. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Someone had a birthday.
Yep, 50. Can't believe it.
50 years of wisdom.
Great segue. We have a health reminder from the CDC.
Pneumococcal vaccination is recommended for adults 50 or older. Says here, we're over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50.
I don't love those odds.
Same. Look what I found. Pfizer's Prevnar 20 is proven to help protect adults against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease in just 1 dose. And millions have already gotten it.
Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you have a severe allergy to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may lower your response. Common side effects include injection site pain and swelling, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138. Visit Prevnar20.com or talk to your doctor or pharmacist.
I'm on Prevnar20.com now, scheduling my appointment.
Good idea. And happy 50th.
And Doug. Limu and I created a trick to help you remember that you can customize your car insurance and save with Liberty Mutual. You see, the shirts Limu and I wear are yellow, and yellow is the color of lemons. And lemons grow on trees, and trees provide oxygen. And oxygen helps us breathe, and breathing is how you live. And you can live more life when you save money by customizing your car insurance. I agree, Limu. It's really quite simple. Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Download to see if you qualify. Not all customers will qualify. Transfer fees may apply. No Albert subscription required. Albert is not a bank. Albert loans are issued by FinWise Bank, member FDIC. Not an actual client. Terms apply.
Is there anything Albert, my AI financial assistant, can't do? Albert, can you create a financial plan just for me?
Yes. I've reviewed your accounts, income, and spending. Here's your plan and a few suggestions.
Great. Any savings I'm missing out on?
I reorganized your budget and found an extra $500 this month. Would you like me to transfer that to your savings?
Sure.
Done.
Oh, I'm thinking about moving. Can you get me more cash?
Albert can get you a loan up to $10,000 fast. How does that sound?
Sounds perfect. Looks like Albert really can do everything.
Download the Albert app and use promo code EARN to try Genius, your AI financial assistant, and get up to $10,000. Just download the Albert app and use promo code EARN to try Genius and get up to $10,000. Promo code EARN.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
Want to make the most of your tax refund? File with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They help you get your biggest refund, and then we help you do more with it. With a personalized plan designed to help you hit your money goals. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
Proudly serving St. Louis for over 100 years. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
Well, if you don't like the way things are in college sports, just wait a day because the rules are going to change, and the rules are likely going to be changed because of some sort of ruling in a courtroom. That's where we're at right now in college athletics. The world of college athletics is being ruled in courtrooms where essentially the NCAA tries to make rules. Somebody challenges in a courtroom, the judge sides with the athlete, and then the rules go in that direction. And this now has a bit of a Mizzou connection to it because Mark Mitchell is trying to retain college eligibility for another year, although it doesn't look like he wants to play at Mizzou. To talk about that and a few other things, let's welcome on to the program from Power Mizzou, the Mizzou coverage you get at Power Mizzou, second to none. Gabe DeArmond joins us on the show. Gabe, thanks for taking some time with us today. How are you?
Not bad. Appreciate it, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. So what do you make of this situation where Mark Mitchell is like many former college athletes, maybe former/current college athletes, they're trying to take advantage of the 5-5, and they're trying to take advantage of what the Colorado judge did with the injunction to get another year. But it seems like with Mitchell, if he does get that next year, he's likely to be at Kentucky and not Missouri.
That's the way it seems right now. Yeah, I mean, these things can change. His hearing was this morning in Louisville, and I was kind of surprised that the judge just didn't immediately say, yeah, you guys win. We're granting the injunction. He said he's going to decide sometime next week. Sterling Webb had the same thing happen, and I mean, like within 10 minutes of the end of the hearing, he was basically back on Missouri's football team. So I'm a little surprised it's not already done. I'm so tired of covering lawsuits and court hearings and this and that. I just want the games to start.
Yeah.
I do understand this class saying, hey, we're the only ones that didn't get this. I mean, my stance since the beginning has been, whatever your feeling is on it, just be consistent about that feeling. If you think they should all come back, cool, then you got to think it's fine that Mark Mitchell is going to come back and go to Kentucky. If you think none of them should come back, you shouldn't change your mind when it helps your team. My stance since the beginning has been, hey, there used to be a time where we just told people, yeah, man, life's not fair. Sorry, you fell in the class that isn't going to get 5 years. That's rough. It's too bad, but move on. And I think the irony in all of this is the kids that are taking advantage of it are taking advantage of it because they are not good enough to be pros.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not trying to be insulting. It is very difficult to be a pro athlete. That it is a great thing if you are an excellent college athlete. Not all of those guys become pros, but like if they can play pro ball, they're going and playing pro ball, and the ones that are coming back can't. And I think the tough part of it is, and it's been the tough part of a lot of these things that the NCAA has done the last few years, the people it really hurts are the kids either on current teams or being recruited in high school right now. I mean, you're just running out of roster spots.
Yeah, there's so much, and I know you're not a lawyer, but I'm gonna ask you kind of a lawyer type question, and you can talk to me like I'm in third grade. What I don't understand is why that injunction came down from the Colorado judge, and immediately a bunch of athletes got their eligibility back. But then there's another class of athletes like Mitchell who they still have to go through their own court system. Is this connected to the fact that he did the Exhibit 10 contract in the NBA? Like, what's the difference between these athletes?
No, it is connected to the fact that he didn't enter the transfer portal. Like Mark could come back to Missouri today based on that Colorado ruling. There were 2 football players at Virginia, I think a couple at Indiana, maybe Louisville or Texas Tech, I can't remember, but that like they were, after that Colorado ruling, they said, cool, I'm going back to my team. right? And Mark Mitchell could do that. He could have, the day that ruling came down, at any point, he could have said, I'm going back to Missouri, assuming Missouri had room and it was good with both sides and all of that. But to go to anywhere, basically to even talk to other schools or coaches, he has to be in the transfer portal. Well, he didn't enter the transfer portal back in April when it was open. So part of this lawsuit is we want you to force the opening of a new transfer portal next week so we can get in it and talk to other coaches, because right now there's only one place I'm allowed to go. Now, guys like, Jacob Cruz and Javon Porter from Missouri were kind of in the same situation, and they entered the transfer portal in April. And at the time, we kind of laughed. We're like, what are you doing? Your college career is over. Why are you doing this? Well, they're doing it for exactly this scenario. If down the road something happens where we get 5 for 5, we want to then be able to go out and kind of figure out where we're going to play college basketball next year. And the difference in those situations is, Mark certainly would have had the option and would be welcome back at Missouri under the right circumstances. Jacob Cruz and Javon Porter were not going to have a spot on Missouri's team this year.
Yeah. Is there any guys leave programs via the transfer portal over and over and over every single year? Is there any reason to look at this Mark Mitchell, Missouri situation, him not wanting to be back, at anything more than just the standard guy wants to go play somewhere else?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's money, right? I mean, look, I've said it on our message board, so I don't mind saying it on the radio. I've heard from enough places. I firmly believe that despite the fact Kentucky cannot technically be talking to Mark, if he gets to a situation where it can happen, there's an offer of $6 million on the table for next year. That Missouri doesn't have that. They're not offering $6 million. So, I mean, that's the reason. And I don't, everybody hears, well, he's chasing a bag and thinks it's a terrible thing. I don't know. If somebody offered you $6 million a year for 1 year of work, would you do it? I think I could do. I can't think of a job I wouldn't do for $6 million next year.
Yeah, I spent the better part of $100 over the last 3 weeks on Powerball tickets, so I'll do a lot for millions of dollars if I need to.
Yeah.
So
yeah, no question.
And from an NCAA standpoint, this is attached to Mitchell, but it's also attached to the bigger picture. They keep fighting these things and they keep losing. And I understand why they want to keep fighting, because they're going to tell you they have morals and they want to enforce rules, yada, yada, yada. But at some point, it feels like you're in quicksand. Why not just try to accelerate to whatever the rules and whatever the world's going to look like, and stop fighting this stuff that you're probably going to lose in court?
I mean, I think it's a pride and ego thing, right? At some point, I mean, first of all, this is going to be, I say this, God knows, it could all change. This should be the last year where this is an issue, because starting next year, we are going to a very set, you get 5 years to play 5, that's it. Or 5 years after your 19th birthday, whatever helps you the most. Kids entering college next year, it's just 5 years. You get 5 years, that's all. And you can't play anymore. So we won't have these lawsuits. So at this point, I think we're not going to wave the white flag. We're going to dig in and we're going to fight every one of you, even if we lose everyone.
Yeah, that's where they're at, and it is not going especially well for them. Do you like the 5-5? Do you like where this thing is going?
I'm fine with it. Yeah, I mean, I think it helps. I think it helps coaches in that you don't have to make hard decisions about, like, well, this kid's played 4 games already. If we play him again, we burn a year of eligibility. So as long as the rules are the same across the board, 5 years is fine with me. I don't like whatever. I would have been fine if it stayed at 4 too. But obviously at this point, I think giving an extra year probably avoids some problems down the road. So I do like it. Now, the interesting part will become, okay, what happens with the first kid that, say, has season-ending injuries twice and tries to challenge this and say, but really I only got to play 3 years. What's a court going to say about that? I mean, to me, it's, hey, you have 5 years, man. Whatever happens in those 5 years happens, and then you're done. And hopefully that'll hold up. And I do think it's a much more straightforward and simple thing that seems like it should be more difficult to challenge in courts. But like you said, I'm not a lawyer, so what do I know?
Last thing for you before we get you out of here. Bill Self had some interesting comments that he made to John Rothstein from CBS Sports on John's podcast. He was asked about the future of the Mizzou-Kansas rivalry game, and Bill gave about a million reasons on why this thing may not move forward, and he tried to blame every other party in the world. What is your take? Everybody in college basketball says Missouri and Kansas should continue to play, but it really felt like Bill Self was trying to plant the seed that this thing is not going to continue on after the current contract.
Well, my favorite part of it was, like you said, Bill Self listing off all these other people. Bill Self is fully in control of who Kansas plays in basketball. Like, it is not a secret. The reason Missouri and Kansas did not play from 2012 till 2021 was because Bill Self got mad that Missouri left the Big 12 and said, we're not doing it. And I mean, that's all there was to it. And so it didn't happen. It came back because Bill Self finally relented and said, fine, let's go do it. And it's come back for 6 years. This is the last year. Dennis Gates was on with Rothstein a few weeks ago, and John asked him the same question, and he said, look, I'm not going to be the reason this doesn't happen. I want it to happen. I want our admin to make it happen. Missouri's stance since it left the Big 12 was, we will play you. We will play you in football. We will play you in basketball. We think we should continue to play you. This is up to you. And for a long time, Kansas refused, and now it appears Kansas is going to refuse again. I made a lot of Missouri fans mad this morning because I said, look, at this point, whatever. If it goes away, fine. And I never thought I'd say that. But, don't get me wrong. If they keep playing it, that's cool, too. I'm not advocating for it to stop. But at some point, Bill Self's making it pretty obvious he doesn't really want to do it. If I'm Missouri, I just go, we're in a different league. We have a lot of good games on our schedule. We're not going to beg you to come play us.
He is Gabe DeArmond. Before we get you out of here, I know you guys have a special going on over at Power Mizzou. You're part of the 24/7 Sports Network, so you get a lot of access to everything across the network. Best ranking system in terms of the prospects across basketball and football with the 24/7 Sports Composite, which is awesome. It takes all the various ranking systems out there and puts in one. If folks want to get your Mizzou coverage and get access to 24/7 Sports, you've got quite the deal going on right now.
Yeah, just go to powermizzou.com. We're offering you, I think up until kickoff, 60% off your first year. So it's less than $5 a month. It's going to get you coverage through next August. We've got Cody Goodwin. He has a great story up on Jamal Roberts, the St. Louis kid today. He is killing camp coverage. And, we've got 4 full-time people covering Mizzou at times when most media outlets are cutting back. So, hopefully people come check it out.
Support journalism, support people who are getting actual game coverage and practice coverage. Power Mizzou is the best. Gabe, thank you so much for the time. We'll do this again down the line.
All right, sounds good. Have a good one.
All right, very good. That's Gabe DeArmond joining us from Power Mizzou. Again, they do a great job covering the Tigers, and we appreciate them spending some time with us and going through this whole Mark Mitchell situation, which is interesting to say the least. We'll jump back into Cardinals. Our guy, Brendan Schaefer, he joins us next. It's a Gray Bar Sports Open Line on KMOX.
We don't just cover St. Louis. We share it. That's why the stories you hear every morning aren't just headlines. They're about your neighborhood.
Ferguson's police chief took the stand in day one of
your roads.
Westbound 270 North County just had some volume on
your Cardinals.
Riley O'Brien strikes out the side in the 9th inning.
Your community.
I'm Tom Ackerman.
This is Debbie Monterey.
I'm Megan Lynch.
Total Information AM. Weekdays on KMOX.
I felt a jackhammering pain in my jaw.
Like someone sawing my bones. Barbed wire in my shoulder.
Like a cattle prod in my hip.
Like I put my foot in a blender.
Pain is different for everyone. But where pain starts, Jurnavix suzetrigine begins. Jurnavix is a non-opioid 50-milligram prescription tablet for adults with moderate to severe acute pain that reduces pain signals before they reach the brain. Before those signals tell the brain to feel
like I punched an angry beehive.
And pain reduction can finally begin. Do not take Jernavix with CYP3A inhibitors. Avoid use with grapefruit or liver problems, as these may increase side effects. Tell your doctor about all your medicines if you are pregnant or breastfeeding. Jernavix may make certain medicines and birth control less effective. Side effects include itching, muscle spasms, rash, and elevated muscle enzymes. To learn more about Jernavix, ask your doctor. Call 1-833-589-PAIN or visit jernavix.com.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, you're not alone. Most importantly, you don't have to live with it. Paramount Men's Medical Center restores men's sex lives in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, even when Viagra and Cialis don't work. Here's Dr. Simovitz, specialist in men's health.
Paramount Men's Medical Center's painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. 98% of patients see instant results right in the office.
Men are now lasting longer than they ever imagined. And the best part, at Paramount Men's Medical Center, your consultation and first treatment are free. Qualified patients even get their testosterone checked free. Call 314-720-8444. 314-720-8444. Take control of your sex life. Call now. 314-720-8444.
Bernie Miklasz here for Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin comfort dealer that's been taking great care of St. Louis families since 1927. Dan Saliga is a fourth-generation owner-operator of this proud family business, and he is maintaining the highest of standards. The Miklasz family has called on Saliga for many years, and we give them the highest marks for honesty, knowledge, and class. You won't have to worry about Saliga trying to fast-talk you into something you don't need. But if a repair is needed, Saliga will patiently explain all of your options and answer all of your questions. The Saliga family business is still going strong after nearly 100 years, and they believe they must earn your trust every time. Saliga will never take your business for granted. Saliga services all makes and models for home or business and offers free estimates and financing options. I recommend Saliga's Priority Club. It's a maintenance plan that will save you money by extending the life of your equipment. To find out much more, call Saliga at 314-481-7333 or visit SaligaHeatingandCooling.com.
And welcome back to Get Ahead of It. First question, if your constipation with belly pain keeps coming back, you should...
Talk to your doctor.
Yes, it could be irritable bowel syndrome with constipation or IBS-C, and Linzess could help you get ahead of it.
Linzess linaclotide is the #1 prescribed branded treatment for IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily prescription pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2 years old. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. Talk to your doctor and say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
Now, back to the Gray Bar Sports Open Line, presented in part by St. Luke's Hospital, St. Louis's #1 heart hospital, on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
All right, back at it here on KMOX. We're going to talk with Brendan Schaefer coming up in just a moment or so. We are efforting him right now, part of the team over at MLB.com, Cardinals.com, covering the Cardinals in his first year in that role, doing a really, really good job. Of course, you've seen him. He's got a bunch of stuff. He's got the Be Safe Daily. He's been part of STL Sports Central. He's got a radio show that he does in Columbia, Missouri. So he's everywhere. He's absolutely everywhere. So we'll talk with him in just a moment as we continue to talk through the Joshua Baez promotion, the excitement that is Baez joining the Cardinals, and he is expected to be in the lineup and playing left field tomorrow. Now, a reminder for you, he has passed the date in which you have to get by to still have rookie eligibility for next year, but there's also rookie eligibility connected to the number of at-bats that you have to stay under to make sure that you're eligible for next year. So if all of a sudden Baez isn't playing, that's why. If he gets a day off here, a day off there, and maybe he's just absolutely killing it, they are not going to burn his rookie eligibility to get him an extra game or two here moving forward. But it's exciting. And said this to Bernie earlier, and I said this if you were with me on the post-game show the night before Quinn Matthews made his debut. One of my big points was just enjoy this. Enjoy watching these guys get here, and enjoy knowing that it's going to be somebody who is probably going to be here for a long time and is really likely to have an extended good run with this team and could very easily be one of the top players for this team and a guy that's a big part of driving in runs and scoring runs and everything. So it's exciting for sure that Joshua Baez is getting here. And with that, we're happy to welcome onto the program via the Quiver River Electric guest line. It is our friend Brendan Schaefer. You see him and you read him at MLB.com, B. Schaefer Dafley, all over the place. He joins us right now. Hey, Brendan, how are you?
Doing well, Matt. Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, absolutely. So what was your initial reaction when all of a sudden the news started to break on social media today that Joshua Baez is en route to Chicago and he's going to be in the starting lineup coming tomorrow?
Yeah, my reaction was, I guess they're starting a lefty tomorrow. And then I looked, and that's true. Maybe that's the explanation, right, for why the one additional day. But we had sort of been anticipating this. Once you got below that 45-day threshold, you want to maintain that rookie eligibility for 2027, and if he is, in fact, that type of player. But, yeah, I think it's probably time that we see Joshua Baez at the big league level, and what better place to start off than on this road trip where you're at Wrigley? Hey, maybe the wind will be blowing out, who knows? And then Cincinnati, we know that power hitters can thrive there. So I think it's two places that honestly make more sense to give him a look than even starting him off at Busch. So let's see what he's got. I think it'll be exciting for Cardinals fans that have been asking for this.
The Cardinals have slow played this a little bit, maybe in part because they wanted to make sure that they did not burn his rookie eligibility, but also because there were some things still underneath the hood with what he was doing at AAA at times that did not look great. Some of that has been cleaned up. What kind of expectations do you think fans should have as Baez arrives?
I mean, I would temper them. I would say that this could go a number of different ways, but the 34 home runs in AAA is certainly something to pay attention to. The 136 strikeouts, I think, is part of what you mentioned there, Matt, the reason the Cardinals maybe exercise some caution and were patient with this process. But look, I think with a lot of young players, before they get that first taste of the big leagues, they can't really know and understand or feel what it's like to be in that situation. So for Joshua Baez, it's got to happen at some point that he gets his feet wet, and that's what this process can be, right? Mason Wynn, a couple of years ago when he first was coming up, had one of these types of cups of coffee toward the end of the season. You don't want to look back at those numbers and take anything away from them, but maybe in Baez's case, you're looking for the power, right? So even if there are some strikeouts, can he mix in the occasional home run to give you a glimpse of what type of power he could provide to the Cardinal lineup in the future? I think that's the hope in terms of the expectation.
What do you think separates out the guys who get to the big leagues for the first time and have some form of just thriving immediately and able to stick around versus the guys who get to the big leagues and it's a struggle, and sometimes it's a return to AAA or it's just really trying to fight through things? It can go either way, and to me it doesn't seem to be much of a rhyme or reason to why it goes so well for some guys and not so well for others.
Yeah, I think that's a great point to bring up, because a lot of the time we do see guys that have great AAA numbers and the gap there is significant, and then they come up and it's not the same. Maybe they need another round of seasoning down in the minors and they come back and it's better and you learn a little bit more. I think the rhyme or reason, like the best way to look at it is go, okay, who are the guys that do come right up and they're polished and they're holding their own? I think of a guy like J.J. Weatherholt, and just hearing the way that Ollie Marmol describes all of the preparation and the work that he puts into behind the scenes, what he does out there on the field, just kind of tells you that there's some guys who are on another level. I think Weatherholt is one of those guys. I think it's rare, though, for players to quite be on that level when they first get to the big leagues. And so a lot of the time you do see that gap present itself, and then it's about the adjustments that guys can make. So if you're kind of coming up bushy-tailed and bright-eyed without really knowing what to expect, you could get punched in the mouth a little bit, but it's those that make the adjustment when that happens that are then able to go on to have really long and prosperous careers. And, whether Baez has that kind of welcome to the big leagues moment or he's able to just, seamlessly kind of glide into the beginning of his career, either way, you're hopeful that, adjustments will be a part of his game for the long haul, because that's really what it takes to be able to stick at the big league level.
We're talking with Brendan Schaefer from Cardinals.com, MLB.com. Joshua Baez getting here tomorrow. We might see Quinn Matthews this upcoming week. That seems to be something that is quite possible, especially with the doubleheader coming up on Monday. And if you do that, then it's only a couple more weeks until you get to September, and maybe you promote him. Do you feel like we're getting close to, whether it's via a 6-man rotation or some other way to get him in, do you feel like we're close to Quinn Matthews being here and sticking here for the rest of the year?
Yeah, that's hard to say because of what you said. Like the 6-man rotation thing, I don't think can really happen until you get to September call-ups, when you get a couple of extra guys on the roster. But right, they're going to do it for a doubleheader, I assume. Looking now, he last pitched on Wednesday, so he would line up with Monday being his 5th day. I would be really surprised if he's not pitching in that series, and probably on that first day of that series in one of the games of the doubleheader. Then you could shuffle him back and pick a strategic moment to bring him back up, whether it's for another one-off later on in August, because they've got those guys in the rotation that they've tried to bake in extra days for. And I think Matthews is kind of in that role right now. And to your point, maybe when the roster expands, it's easier to have him and just keep him, because you can utilize those extra spots in that way if you so choose. But yeah, like Quinn Matthews to me is right now in the role that we saw Michael McGreevy in there for a while, and then it was Hunter Dobbins earlier this season, and now it's Matthews. But I certainly think he's very much on the radar and is going to make more than just one remaining start the rest of the season. Like, we'll probably see him Monday. I think we'll certainly see him again after Monday as well, and continue to get him integrated.
Do you think the Cardinals are getting enough credit for, when you look at the starting rotation and 3/5 of the rotation, basically everybody but Matthew Liberatore and guys who haven't been there the whole year. So 3 of the 4 guys who have been there all year, in Leahy, McGreevy, and Palante, all 3 of those guys have basically 3.6 ERAs or below. All 3 of them have made all 23 starts. So they've pitched well, and they have stayed healthy. Does the organization get the credit it deserves for, like, specifically those 3 guys having the seasons that they're having?
I'm going to say that, number one, no, the organization doesn't get the credit that it deserves for that. Number two, I think guys like Dusty Blake specifically don't get the credit that he deserves for something like that. It seems like with position coaches, whether it's hitting coach, pitching coach, over the years, not specific to this team, Matt, but like in general, we end up seeing, okay, the offense isn't doing well, got to fire the hitting coach. Oh, a couple guys are struggling to pitch. It's probably the pitching coach's fault. And like, that's sort of the way that I think fans and the public perception can be of these roles. I don't think it's necessarily accurate to reality. And we oftentimes don't then flip that script and say, hey, with the talent that you had at your disposal, here's what you're getting out of guys. Or, hey, here's the plan that the organization put together for a Kyle Leahy, taking him from a relief role and in his very first year in a rotation role with a little bit of turbulence at the beginning, but not nearly as much as I think a lot of folks were discussing it as, and probably not as much as even the Cardinals were prepared to weather. Like he very smooth over his last couple of months, and he's in year 1 of doing this. Yeah, I think there's a lot of people who deserve credit for that and other examples that you brought up, and Palante, McGreevy, that are not getting the shine necessarily. It just seems like it's a lot easier to criticize the ones that don't go well versus, hey, nobody was talking about this Cardinals rotation when you look at the names in it. I'm talking nationally, being a group that had 3 guys with the numbers that you just read out that these guys have. So, yeah, they deserve a ton of credit, and I don't know if always that credit is doled out on the level that it should be.
He is Brendan Schaefer. You can read him, MLB.com, Cardinals.com, all over the place doing other things, whether it's the podcast and the Be Safe Daily, and he pops up in a few other places as well. Brendan, always appreciate you taking a few moments with us. Enjoy the weekend, and I'm sure we'll see you at the ballpark when the team is back in town.
Absolutely, Matt. Thanks for having me, man.
Perfect. That is Brendan Schaefer joining us on the show, and we appreciate him spending some time with us today. Again, if you're just now tuning in and you've not been with us from the beginning, the news of the day, as Oliver Marmol announced during his post-game media session, as you heard right here on KMOX during our post-game show, Ollie announced the news that Joshua Baez is coming up to the Cardinals. He'll be making his Major League debut tomorrow. He is going to be in left field, and you would think that he's going to be an everyday player for this team moving forward. There might be a day or two where he doesn't play just to make sure that you keep him under that at-bats threshold so he does retain rookie eligibility for next year, but there's no reason to believe that this guy's not going to be given every opportunity to play and play a lot and just let that help propel him into next year and maybe help propel the Cardinals a little bit, because I don't know if you've heard, the Cardinals don't hit a lot of home runs. And it'd be nice to have somebody who can hit a few home runs. That would be nice. So let's see Joshua Baez get a few knocked out of the ballpark before this year comes to an end. One final break here in hour number 1. We'll come back. We'll wrap things up. We got a busy program. We're here with you till 8 o'clock tonight. Don't go anywhere. You are locked into a Gray Bar Sports Open Line on KMOX.
There are many reasons to hire Morgan & Morgan for your injury case. Here's reason 17. In today's new world, many law firms have had money injected into their firms by Wall Street, private equity, and other lenders. This money usually comes in at very, very high interest rates. It's one of the reasons you see so many lawyers advertising. I'm John Morgan. This money is expensive and the interest compounds quickly. These law firms can have a huge need for cash just to pay that debt. Why does it matter to you? My fear is your case is settled early and for far less than it's worth, just to service the loan that has mafia-like rates. Our financial strength is your advantage. That plus our reputation makes our firm your firm. Visit forthepeople.com to see our results and verdicts. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance. And now we're customizing this rush hour ad to keep you calm, which could help your driving. And science says therapy is great for a healthy mindset. So enjoy this 14-second session on us. I think you've done everything right and absolutely nothing wrong. In fact, anything that hasn't gone your way could probably be blamed on your father not being emotionally available because his father wasn't emotionally available, and so on. And now that you're calm and healing, you're probably driving better too.
Liberty, 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 liberty. Think buying a home is out of reach? Think again. Scott Credit Union has down payment options as low as zero money down. Your new home could be closer than you think. Visit scu.org today. Equal housing lender, NMLS 415767. Terms and conditions apply.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
What do parents think of back to school at Staples, where 24-pack Crayola crayons are just 50 cents?
Staples has folders, notebooks, and pens at great prices.
I'm smiling from ear to ear.
It's the most wonderful time.
Mom, I missed the bus of the year.
It's a wonderful time at Staples, where school supplies start at just 25 cents. Staples.
That was easy.
Visit your local Staples today or shop online and in the app. Ends 9/12. Exclusions apply.
Is life insurance still on your list from earlier this year? Now is the perfect time to just get it done. A buddy told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I added this to my list this year and got it done. I called SelectQuote and was shocked at how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $18 a month. My wife's also 40, and her $5,000 policy was only $16 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage, no medical exam was required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. Checking this off my list felt great, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-280-5858 for your free quote today. That's 1-800-280-5858. Or go to SelectQuote.com. That's 1-800-280-5858. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
Summer is here. Time to enjoy baseball, barbecues, and the shade of your trees. When it comes to tree care, call the certified arborist at Gamma Tree Experts. Hi, I'm Tim Gamma. Protect your valuable trees from storm damage or devastating insects such as the emerald ash borer. Knowledge and quality are hallmarks of our reputation. For pruning, spraying, spraying, fertilization, or removals, call Gamma Tree experts today at 314-725-6159 or visit us at gammatree.com. Your trees deserve the best care.
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM KMOX. Now, back to the Gray Bar Sports Open Line, presented in part by St. Luke's Hospital, St. Louis's #1 heart hospital, on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Plus the 2 minutes to go here in hour number 1 of the program. We've got a lot coming up in hour number 2. We'll continue the Joshua Baez conversation. We'll also talk some Lindenwood football and some City SC. So that's all going to be coming up in the second hour. Jeremy sends in a message about Joshua Baez. Says, I wonder what his reaction was to being called up. I don't know how he found out. Sometimes they've got the cameras hidden away in the manager's office when somebody gets the news that they got called up. I love that stuff. I can't get enough of that stuff. It's the easiest content to produce, and it is the best content to produce. Anything that creates emotion on both sides of the camera, the true emotion of Baez finding out that he's going to the big leagues and the emotion of everybody watching it, it's great. Now, I would say this. Baez has been very clear when asked about, should he be at the big leagues? He said, I got work to do here in Memphis. So that he was saying the right things.
If we don't get the video, maybe next week we try to get Alex Coyle on.
Yeah.
Who does the broadcast down there and is a great Twitter follow, does a great job setting up interviews. We get him on and say, all right, what's the word around the stadium about what his reaction was when he got brought in?
Yeah, we need to talk to Alex. And I was texting with Alex a little bit earlier today, so we'll get him on at some point. Talk more about Joshua Baez, but Baez in the lineup, assumingly in left field tomorrow, and who knows where he's going to hit, but it's going to be fun to see. We've got a lot more coming up after the 7 o'clock news here on KMOX.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Tech, sponsored by Dollar General.
Apple is working on a new home device that Bloomberg says looks a lot like rival products from Amazon and Google. The report says Apple's Smart Hub will have a 7-inch square display designed for FaceTime video conferencing, home security monitoring, and an intercom system that can connect with multiple devices. Apple will also integrate Siri AI into its Smart Hub, which is expected to launch by early 2027. I'm Jason Brooks.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
I'm not one to say I told you so, but I switched to Pure Talk over a year ago, and ever since, I've been telling people there's no better wireless company out there. Well, a few months ago, a massive survey was conducted. 123,000 people were asked to rate their wireless carrier in 4 categories: coverage, support, data, and overall value. Well, the results are in. Guess which wireless company was the only wireless company to get 5 stars in every category? Yeah, Pure Talk. 5 stars, every category. To celebrate, Pure Talk is offering the first 3 months of any plan for just $15 a month, including their top-tier unlimited plan. No contract, no commitment, just a very inexpensive way to test drive the only American wireless company with 5 stars in every category. Just dial pound 250, say micro, and Pure Talk's U.S. customer service will take it from there. Again, pound 250 micro. And yes, I told you.
Guys, Kevin Wheeler here for FanDuel Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of KMOX. And right now, FanDuel is giving new customers up to $1,000 in bet resets. So here's how it works. So new customers can place a $5 bet each day and receive up to $200 in bet resets, up to $1,000 total. And with baseball on every day, there's always another game, another matchup, another chance to get in on the action. And that's whether you're betting money lines or player props, same game parlays, whatever. FanDuel has you covered. So place your daily $5 bet and unlock up to $1,000 $1,000 in bet reset. So go to FanDuel.com/Missouri to get started. Just remember that you have to be 21 or older and present in Missouri. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Minimum $5 wager for 5 consecutive days. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bet reset tokens. Refund from token issued as non-withdrawable. Bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Max refund is $200 a day. Restrictions apply, including token expiration. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for buying gas. That's right. You can earn cash back with Upside just for buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside, and just last year, I made nearly $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get cash back? If you like extra cash, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back when you fill your tank. Use promo code FRESH to get an extra 35 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code FRESH for a 35 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code FRESH for a 35 cents per gallon bonus.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Tony has officially pleaded guilty to 2 federal charges in an open court and admitted to killing United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson in December of 2024. Later, NYPD Commissioner Jessica Tisch said violence will never be allowed on the streets of New York.
To those who idolize Luigi Mangione, I say this: violence is not a cause, murder is not a message, and a killer is certainly not a hero.
Mangione faces up to life in federal prison. Another round of catastrophic flooding in the Midwest overnight. The severe storms leaving at least 3 people dead. The FAA investigating after 2 American Airlines flights over Arizona, one departing, the other arriving, were assigned the same flight number. The U.S. Army ordering a temporary stand-down of all AH-64 Apache helicopter training flight operations, pending an investigation into Wednesday's deadly crash near Fort Hood, Texas. This is ABC News. A North Carolina man who was accused of threatening a mass shooting in New Orleans has quietly been released from custody.
Federal agents working off a tip that Christopher Gillum was planning an armed assault on black people at a New Orleans jazz festival tracked the 45-year-old to a Florida hotel room. Former FBI Special Agent Frank Brostrom says the case seems solid.
He traveled interstate, he possessed firearms, a large amount of ammunition, and he's making his way to where he was going to go.
But Louisiana Attorney General Liz Murrell says the threats were not specific. A grand jury has cleared Gillum, and he's been released. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
Another American freed from captivity this week. An American missionary kidnapped in Niger last year has now been released. Kevin Rideout from North Carolina is an evangelical missionary who was kidnapped outside of his home last October. And Reddit rose 12% on news. A company will join the S&P 500 index Tuesday. The company's been posting profits almost every quarter since 2024. Dave Packer, ABC News.
At 7:02, it's a partly cloudy sky downtown at the Arch. Right now, 90 degrees. For the second day in a row, a plane skids off the runway at Spirit of St. Louis Airport in Chesterfield. Monarch fire officials said 10 people were in the plane when a mechanical issue forced it off the tarmac and into the grass. Emergency crews rushed to the scene, but nobody was hurt. It comes just a day after a separate plane went off the runway under similar circumstances. Why did 2 19-year-olds allegedly open fire on police officers conducting an unrelated traffic stop last month, while charging documents reveal little about the core motivation of Alex Veer Bishop and Justin Price? U.S. Attorney Thomas Albus says their actions that night revealed intention.
They were planning to do something in terms of removing the license plate and turning off their location monitoring on their phones, etc.
Price, in an interview with police, claimed he was at his mother's house all night, despite footage at a gas station showing otherwise. Bishop was arrested in Alton, Illinois, on charges of distributing meth. In his home, police found 2 more pounds of meth, along with a large amount of cash and boxes of ammo. Chicago Bears executives say they're sharpening their focus on a potential move to Northwest Indiana after finishing their analysis of at least one viable site near Hammond. Jeff Buchholz from Chicago has the update.
Our focus on Hammond.
Chairman George McCaskey praised discussions with Indiana leaders about the potential for
for a multi-use development anchored by a domed football stadium that would be bankrolled by Hoosier taxpayers.
They've been very proactive, very communicative, very solution-oriented.
And he's not second-guessing his team's efforts to lobby Illinois lawmakers for help to lower the cost of building a stadium in Arlington Heights.
We thought we had presented a pretty compelling case.
But two separate incentive bills fell short in Springfield, and since then, the team has described its contact with Illinois leaders as minimal. McCaskey says he knows convincing diehard Bears fans to cross the state line will require an adjustment.
Once they understand that our top priority from day one was a world-class stadium experience, we think we'll make that adjustment.
But they'll have time to get there. The Bears' lease at Soldier Field runs through 2033.
The last day is in the books for Lambert Airport Director Rhonda Hamda-Briggy, while the mayor's office finishes interviewing candidates for her permanent replacement. Acting Director Jerry Beckman takes over. Hamda-Briggy says whoever inherits the office permanently has to look past the gates.
You can't run the airport in an isolated environment. You really do need to engage the broader community, the business community, obviously the elected officials community, and just work with them on partnering and making sure that everybody is on the same path for where we need to go.
Hamda-Briggy says she plans to take a vacation to Ireland and to Scotland. Know before you go in the Metro East.
Wyandotte still planning on shutting down westbound 64 tonight. I'm Roger Brand. It's going to start at 9 p.m. They're going to close down westbound 64 from 255 to 18th Street. The ramps at 111 westbound will also be closed during this time. It's going to remain closed through Monday morning the 24th at 5 a.m., so it's about 10 days. Westbound 64 is going to be shut down. Your alternate route is to take northbound 255 up to 5570, so plan accordingly, especially during morning rush hours.
And a look at the forecast from Dave Murray. For tonight, clear, warm, humid, low 79. For tomorrow, hot, humid, sunny with a high of 100. Right now, we stand at 90 downtown at the Arch. The feels like 93. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Now, back to the Gray Bar Sports Open Line, presented in part by St. Luke's Hospital, St. Louis's #1 heart hospital, on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Back at it on the Gray Bar Sports Open Line on KMOX. Cardinals played this afternoon. They lost to the Cubs 3-0, but with them playing day baseball today, we've got the show tonight. Very happy to have it. 3 straight days of being able to do Sports Open Line, which has been great, with a couple of off days, or a couple of day games and an off day in there from the Cardinals. College football season, it is right around the corner. It's actually closer for Lindenwood than just about any team out there. They are going to open up their season on Thursday, August 27th. That's about a week and a half in front of most teams in college football, so it is coming up very, very soon. Happy to welcome on to the program. He is the head coach of the Lindenwood football team, is Jed Stewart. Coach, appreciate you taking some time with us today. How are you?
I'm great, Matt. Good to be on with you tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. This is coming fast for you. Your counterparts around college football have a little bit more time than you do to get ready for your first game.
Man, I tell you, it's like you wait around all summer, and I feel like we just started. And like I just was listening to the lead in there when you said how close this thing is. It's like it's right upon us, and the excitement's in the air. We're out here. We got Fan Fest going on our field right now, and so we got a lot of fans and kids out here. But football is definitely, the energy's pretty high around Lindenwood. We're pretty excited about it.
What is it like, big picture, and we'll talk about your team this year in a second, but from a big picture standpoint, because you've been there for a little while now and you've watched this evolution as you guys have made the transition to where you're at right now, and then really had a solid season last year. You're picked third in the preseason poll this year. You got a first place vote. High expectations for this team. Fans seem to be really embracing Lindenwood football. How much have you enjoyed just watching this whole thing happen over the last really kind of 3, 4, 5 years?
Well, it's been exciting. This is our 10th football season here now, and so we've seen a lot of changes for the good. Obviously, when we were Division II, and then this new era of being Division I, it feels like we just started. But we're here we go, starting our 5th year into it, and transitions. I know we don't really like to use the word transition, but these are always tough. You got to have a great. If you don't have the support of the school, and I will say Dr. Porter, our president, has always been behind this move. Our athletic director, Jason Coomer, I always felt like when you got that kind of support behind you that are committed to this for all sports, not just football, it makes it a little easier. And then we got to kind of do our part, the recruiting and everything, to kind of flip that roster over. And for the most part, I would say that we've handled this move fairly well and probably quicker and a little more successful than a lot of people that have moved up this early. So we're grateful for that.
And you've done this all during a period where it seems like every day there's new rules when it comes to college athletics. Things are being challenged in court. You don't know. It's the wild, wild west right now in college athletics. So to try to build the program the way you're doing, where it's a different rule for this and that every moment, I have to think that adds to the challenge.
It does. I mean, there's a really strong chance that there'll be a real change by the time we get off this interview, to be honest with you. It's crazy, but, I think we always kind of say in our staff here that we're going to stay in our lane. You have to kind of adjust to some things, but I think, we've kind of stayed in our lane when it comes to recruiting. And, I know with the transfer portal and all this stuff, we've still been very heavy recruiting the area. We always say we're loyal to the Lou. We look at our, over half our rosters from probably an hour from this place. And, that's something we've always been committed to, and developing those young guys. I start looking at our team that we have right now that we're going to put on a field here in a week and a half, and you start looking about how many guys have come back, been in our program, that have been here, we've developed, and now they're showing up on the field. And yeah, we always added some transfers and things like that. But I think you can't get too distracted by all these new rules and things. You just got to kind of roll with it. But if you kind of stay in that foundation, we feel like we've weathered those things pretty well.
Has the 5-5 thing that's coming in, has that impacted you at all yet?
Yeah, I mean, we were able to get two guys from last year's team that thought their career was over, that we were able to get back on our team this year, and they were in great spots. I mean, we had an all conference offensive lineman that even had a pro day and had a couple NFL workouts that was who didn't get signed, but now we get to add him back to our offensive line, which is a huge help, in Gavin Hewlett. And then, and then in the safety position, Eric Gant, another starting safety for us last year that had a heck of a year, comes back, and all of a sudden that safety room got even more veteran with him coming back and the leaders in both those kids. So still trying to figure out really how it affects moving down the road. There's a lot of moving parts, and the NCAA is still trying to block this, and the appellate court trying to get it turned around again. I hope, for the kids' sake, I hope that, a judge would recognize that, if we keep playing these games with these kids, they're here, now you got to tell them they're not. I have a feeling it's going to hold for football season, I would hope. But, yeah, again, like you just said before, it's just, you got to sit back and kind of let all the dust settle and just adjust accordingly.
You mentioned the importance of the St. Louis area for your recruiting, and when Phil Steele released the all-conference preseason teams, you had 5 first-teamers: Steve Hall, Jalen Smith, Andrew Swingle, Jacob Waller, and Christopher Bennett Jr. 4 of those 5 guys are from the St. Louis area. So can you speak to not just being able to retain players from St. Louis, but also those guys being the leaders of your team?
Yeah, 100%. I think obviously the Division I move helped a lot with that. We did really well when we were Division II recruiting the area, but it just seemed like a lot of kids that wanted to have a Division I opportunity would slip away to SEMO or to Eastern Illinois or places that were somewhat close. And I think we really saw that change. It really, not really a change. I think it just exasperated it a little bit to be Division I. I think a lot of kids in the area, we say, in the St. Louis area, a lot of them haven't even been out here. And once they get out here and see St. Charles, they see the facilities, they see Lindenwood. It's close to home, but it still feels like it's a little bit away. And of course, we're blessed by the facilities that we have here and the location that we have here. And so I think we've really made that the moment I set foot on campus here as the new head coach, we were going to make that a priority to recruit. St. Louis is a hotbed of talent. I mean, we have a mega camp here every year in June. There's 1,800 kids that come to this mega camp and 400 and some coaches from all over the country. And it's not necessarily because it's Lindenwood, it's because of all the talent that's in St. Louis. And so, it makes our job a little easier from a recruiting standpoint.
And when you've got that many kids out there, I know you know some of your main targets that are going to be there and you want to keep eyes on them. But when you've got events like those, other camps going on, that's a lot of people to have an eye on at any given moment just to maybe learn about other players.
No doubt. People ask me all the time, even friends of mine that coach other places, they're kind of amazed that we let all these coaches come in here. And I think it's to our advantage because a lot of them are trying to drive their recruits to Lindenwood so they can get a look at them. So anytime our competition wants to send guys they're recruiting to Lindenwood to look at this place, to look at the location, I think that benefits us, and so yeah, and we're, obviously we can't sign 1,800 kids, but I think what's great though is they're all level. We have coaches from NAIA up to Division Power 4. We have 8 or 10 Power 4 schools that come in here. All ranges of levels in college football, and kids get a chance to get recruited. It's a pretty cool thing.
I'm well aware of the fact that you're not looking at your third game of the season. You're very focused on August 27th. You might be focused on practice tomorrow and not much more than that, but I'm going to ask you a question about the third game of the season because you're going to travel down to Springfield and you're going to take on Missouri State, and that's a program that just went through a transition of their own where they went from FCS to FBS. Are you excited to see what your program looks like against a Missouri State team that just went through that transition?
Yeah, I am. And, I knew the former coach, Ryan, pretty well. Beard, he, great guy, got to know him really well. We played him 2 years ago, actually played him pretty well. We ended up losing by 14 points, but, the second half we were kind of creeping back in and making some plays. So we got to see that in our transition playing a quality FCS team. And Ryan and I even talked a little about when they made that move, we talked a little bit about this is my third transition as a head coach, and he kind of knew that in my career. So, him and I talked a lot about, kind of the things to expect and things like that. So, anytime we get to play 2 FBS teams this year to kind of gauge where our team's at, our kids loved it. We went to Appalachian State last year. We almost pulled off an upset there. We had the ball with 2 minutes left, and we're down by 7, and we're driving, and we hope to. We want to go in and just, you're right. For the sake of your question, I'm willing to answer that question, but I am definitely staring at our schedule for tomorrow's little half scrimmage that we're having tomorrow. That's where my focus is. But it's going to be fun to drive down the road and play. I think they're going to be a very solid, good football team.
Have you been happy as camp has moved along and as you do get ready for what's coming up tomorrow? Do you feel like your team is where you want it to be at this point?
Yeah, I think you always gauge it by where you're at in camp. You want to kind of have these little a sliding scale to say, okay, by this practice we need to be doing these things. We're a big situational practice, so we practice all kinds of game situations, and so we're going to have a young quarterback that's starting for the first time in the Robert Potts battle out of East St. Louis, and he's he hasn't been a quarterback yet in college, but he's been here for 2 years again developing and been an integral part of our quarterback room. And so, we're putting him in a lot of game situations, a lot of pressure situations. And I really do number one, I just really like the character of this team. I think I kind of noticed that, again, when you're not a real transfer portal heavy team, I think we only added 20 some, players to our team. And that was from guys that have graduated. And, so the bulk of our team has been here. So spring ball was the winter and spring was very familiar. Everybody knew each other. We're a very close team. And so I think that helps. But, just anytime you have this many guys returning that have had a lot of football under their belt, they're very mature. We've got great leadership on this team. It's probably a team it's been a while that I've been this excited about just the little foundation they're laying. And now we just got to go out and put it together on a field and kind of see how we are with the X's and O's.
Let me finish you off with this. Not only are you starting early on August 27th, that's a league game. So you're going to jump right into conference play. That I've been around coaches long enough to know that there's got to be a little bit of discomfort that goes along with playing a league game and playing it early.
Well, I'm probably one of those crazy coaches and stuff because I think it's awesome.
Okay.
I think it's one of those things where, because the way I look at it, it's an even playing field. They're facing somebody for the first time, and we've played this team. Their coach is a really great guy. I've gotten to know him, Gabe, and he puts together very disciplined football teams. We had to come from behind last year to beat them, and they're going to remember that, and they're going to be jazzed up. So we're reminding our team of that. But I think our guys know. I think they're very hungry. We left a couple games out there last year. We had a couple losses that we feel like was self-inflicted, and as the coaching staff, I got to take the fault for one of those losses and just some of our special team stuff. But, I think our guys are hungry And I don't think they're going to be overlooking that game because they want a piece of this conference championship, and we got to get the first one out of the chute. That's all we've talked about with these guys is a conference game right out of the chute, and I think they're pretty excited about it.
Well, for folks who want football, you can get it over at Hunter Stadium on Thursday, August 27th. Check out Lindenwood football this year. You can get all the details on tickets and their schedule, lindenwoodlions.com. That's lindenwoodlions.com. If you've never gone to a Lindenwood football game, make that change this year and check them out. It's great to have college football at that level so close to us here in the St. Louis area. Their head coach is Jed Stewart. Coach, thanks so much for taking the time, and hopefully we can catch up with you every once in a while as the season goes along.
Yeah, Matt, we're just grateful that you had us on. It's fun to talk to you, and then challenge people to come out, like you said, the game day atmosphere. Come out here 3 hours before the game. It's quite an experience. So hopefully we see a lot of people out here.
Awesome.
God bless. Appreciate your time.
You bet, Coach. Thank you so much. All right, that's head coach Jed Stewart from the Lindenwood football program. Appreciate him taking some time with us. Again, August 27th. That's a week from yesterday. 2 weeks from yesterday. I can do math. 2 weeks from yesterday. So you've got college football in the area coming up very, very soon. We'll take a break. We'll come back. Our good friend Jen Cease will be with us. We'll talk all things City SC with her. A lot going on with that team, and we'll get her thoughts on it in just a moment. It's a Gray Bar Sports Open Line on KMOX.
You know, here in St. Louis, word of mouth still matters, and I'm pretty careful about who I recommend, especially when it comes to something as personal as estate planning. I'm Tom Ackerman. My family has been working with the Lederman Law Firm for over 20 years now, and the reason is simple. They don't just create documents and send you on your way. They help make sure your plan works. Because let's be honest, life changes. Family needs and circumstances change. Laws change. But most estate plans don't change over time as needs, circumstances, and laws change. They're outdated, sitting in a drawer. People assume they're fine, and their plan will work when they need it to work. At the Lederman Law Firm, it's not a one-time transaction. It's an ongoing process. They build a plan to protect your family and your assets, and then for a fixed annual fee, they help keep it up to date as both your life and assets change. Check out the Lederman Law Firm at ledermanlaw.com or give them a call at 314-514-9100. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
Is reviewing life insurance on your to-do list? Now's the perfect time to add it. A friend recently told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I bumped this up on my list and got it done. I called SelectQuote and couldn't believe how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $16 a month. My husband's also 40 and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. Knowing I have this checked off my list feels amazing, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-329-1010. That's 1-800-329-1010. Or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. That's 1-800-329-1010. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
We've been here 30 years, 30 Christmases in this house, and we have the traditions that most families have.
That's Terry talking about her experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We did Rhino Shield 14 years ago, and the house still looks the same as the first day. Rhino Shield really worked with me to help me get just the right nice soft yellow, and it's 14 years later, and it's the same color.
The main reason Terry called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by its 25-year transferable warranty.
It just sounded wonderful that we could have the house coated with Rhino Shield and not have to worry about it again for 25 years.
Take it from Terry. Give Rhino Shield a call now for a free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
There have been neighbors that have come by and said, "Did you just have your house painted?" Because they wanted to know who the contractor was. And I said, "No, it's actually Rhino Shield."
877-25rhino.com.
Save big on your landscaping project at Menards. Whether you're looking for edgers, pavers, or wall blocks, Menards has the largest in-stock selection of concrete landscape block ready to take home today. Build a beautiful border for your landscape with our interlock edgers on sale now through August 16th. Save big on landscape block at Menards. Also, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Muni in Forest Park.
Shakespeare meets showbiz in the Muni debut of Something Rotten, a hilarious mashup that closes out the summer on stage August 17th through 23rd. Your seats are waiting at muni.org.
Retiring soon? Get the information you need by joining Kyle Jones and Matt Allgeier of Fire Capital Management for Your Retirement Highway, Sunday mornings at 9:30. Investment advisory services made available through Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC, registered investment advisors. Securities made available through AE Financial Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC.
A century strong. The voice of St. Louis. KMOX.
Sports Open Line right here on KMOX. Again, the biggest news of the day that we've been talking about a whole bunch. Joshua Baez, he is being called up by the Cardinals. He is going to be in the starting lineup. He's going to be in left field coming up tomorrow. So a big-time promotion, a big-time debut tomorrow. It's going to be a lot of fun for sure, and we'll jump back into Cardinals talk in just a moment or so. For those of you who do not know, Baez, he is considered the number 3 prospect in the organization. He is, by many outlets, is a top 100 prospect, so he's lots of excitement. He's got a ton of power, and we'll see if that translates to the big league level. Let's switch gears, though, and we'll talk some City SC soccer. It is Friday. That means we're bringing in our good friend. She is a part of the team here at KMOX. She's also part of the broadcast over at Y98 covering City SC. It is Jen Cease. Hey, Jen.
Hey, happy Friday.
Happy
I thought
Friday.
You were talking about all the big news, and I'm like, here we go with Marcel Hartle.
I mean, it was big. That's been established. Now let's start with that then, and we'll just from 30,000 feet or whatever. What is your takeaway on the way the whole Hartle situation played out from the he's not with the team anymore all the way to what they got back for him to many is very underwhelming.
Yeah. So if you really go back further than, frankly, in April, I was not aware of this German article, right? About like kind of a blogger, an article where Marcel Hartle had spoken and said, hey, we're thinking about like it would be really great to move back to Germany, been in America for a couple of years. And those people who did notice it really kind of took that as seeing like in the future sometime, because that makes a lot of sense. Why wouldn't you want to return to your home country? Well, then you fast forward from April to the end of May. Cedric Toyshirt is now leaving the club. The Hartles and the Toyshirts are very, very close friends. Jonas Horn also as well. And now we find a fast forward to the end of July, and now you kind of got these first, rumblings of a transfer. It's like, is it just gossip, rumor? And then you get to August 4th, and I think it was August 4th, and the Tom Bogert equivalent over in Germany is Florian Pletzenberg, of course, of SK Germany, and he was basically saying, hey, other than signing paperwork, this is a done deal. So like in a 2-week period from the end of July to finally when we get to August 8th and then August 12th of being truly, truly complete, and we now know Marcel Hartle is over at Hannover 96, it does feel like whiplash. It feels like, what is going on? Because when I was asked a couple weeks ago, I was like, I don't see that happening. Like I have got nothing coming from Marcel or talking with him that is anything other than happy with being with the club, with St. Louis. So it was a little bit of surprise. Most things, as you know, Matt, probably don't catch clubs by surprise. I'm sure this wasn't something that just, hit them a couple weeks ago and all of a sudden they had to figure it out. But I don't know that there's the conspiracies that I am seeing out there. I'm seeing some pretty awful things about why the move and what to do. Here's what I don't think. I don't think Marcel Hartle was unhappy at St. Louis City SC. I think he likes the city. I think he likes the club. Could perhaps he and his family have missed their friends? Perhaps. Their family has changed, added a baby to the family. I know what that's like. Things change. My fear, this is one thing I have not said to anybody just yet. My fear for them, if you're moving that quickly, is that perhaps something is wrong with, please no, not a baby, not a child, that maybe there's something wrong back at home and they need to be there. Because otherwise, why wouldn't you just wait a couple more months, right? The season's close to being done. I mean, hopefully if you get to the postseason, maybe you can go to December. That's not that far away. But something was urgent enough to say we have to do this now. We just don't know what. So that's what I have to say about that part. When it comes to the club, so far still, other than just kind of addressing it in the press release, we haven't heard from the front office as to why or what. Yohan DeMay and the team doesn't seem to have any ill will. Seems to be something that was necessary. But if you're a fan and you're looking at who creates a lot of that magic right now, we're missing our magic man. And of course, that is a kind of a slap across the face, just as the team is finding its stride and climbing its way past the playoff line. And it does feel like a punch to the gut. So I don't know exactly. That is not a great answer other than it happened. We have to move on. And in the future, once MLS transfers over and gets into modeling what the rest of the world does, we're not going to have a lot of these issues happen. Like as we're gearing to the playoffs, other teams in Europe, they're just starting their season. So when you've got a good player like Marcel Hartl that's ripe for the picking, you've got people calling and wooing your players saying, hey, we like you over here. Come on over. The water's nice. Come on. And the players in the middle of the season. And that's not going to happen when it goes to when we kind of model the rest of the world and we have the same transfer windows, and it's not going to happen in the middle of our season.
Yeah, that's actually was going to be my next question for you. Is basically, how much do you think this is connected to the fact that if internally he'd already made the decision that he wanted to move on from, you want to get to the place that you want to go at a place that makes more sense for their calendar than the calendar of the place you're currently at, if that makes sense?
Yeah, that does. Because if you look at it, MLS runs from February to December, if you go all the way to the playoffs. But Europe, they're starting now. August is when they're starting, and they run through May. So our secondary transfer window is in their prime. That is when they are like hot. Like Hanover is like, advertising and saying, we're going to bring in great players, just like we want St. Louis City to do with us, right? Tease us, bring us along, show us somebody great, give us our DP9, right? That is what Hanover was doing because our middle of the season is right when they're getting started. So to them, it's a retooling and a starting. And for us, for MLS, we're pushing for playoffs. And we're like, Dad, why are we losing our players at the worst time possible? And that's because our seasons don't align. So moving forward to next year, July 2027, we're going to have from February to May. It's going to be what MLS is calling a sprint season. I think it's like the shortest season ever, where they're going to crown a champion. And then we kind of start to model the rest of the world that we're going to have, we're going to be in the mix for those elite players around the world that are coming into their end of their contracts. Now, the next question you might say is St. Louis City SC willing to pay for that? Are you going to pay for an elite player to come over here? Well, I would like to think so if we're going ahead and we're getting this money from Marcel Hartl, which, to your point, doesn't seem like a lot. It doesn't seem like a ton. Now, I believe his transfer, Matt Rocchio, I know is in studio. He could probably confirm with you. I believe when we got Marcel Hartl, we did not pay a transfer fee, if I remember correctly.
Rocchio is agreeing with you on that.
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Got that right. So if you look at it that way, transfer to transfer, you maybe didn't lose out. However, Marcel Hartl has, shown himself in 2 years to be a fantastic player. If you look at his stats in 2 years, 24 goals, 18 assists, 67 appearances, and that's just in the 2 years. He's really sold himself to be elite. Now he's going to a second-tier Bundesliga team, which tells me his move was absolutely necessary. Because otherwise, why would you step a little bit down in tier in your career? Although fans of Bundesliga might say the second tier of Bundesliga is just fine.
How concerned are you that where this team is playing very good soccer and they're getting results, they haven't lost in a really, really long time? How concerned are you that the air that comes out of the team with your best player walking out of the door, that all of a sudden this could push them back a little bit to them not being as effective?
Yeah, I think, it's right there. So if you hear from a guy like Conrad Vollum, Matt was there as well at the press conference, he's Norwegian, he's blunt. He really looked at all of us and was like, hey guys, this happens all the time. Like we're used to stuff like this in our world. This is not the end of the world. I think he literally said, we can't go crying about it in the locker room. We have a game to get ready for. So it seems like if you talk to the players, you talk to Coach DeMay, that they're in a good place, but they're not fools. They know who they've lost. It's like when we didn't have Edward Leuven for the longest time. The team was not as good, and it took a while. So, yeah, I think there's going to be an adjustment. And the question is everybody that's there right now and playing their best, can they execute DeMay's system in such a way that can be superior enough to beat a team that right now is third in the Western Conference? You remember, San Jose came to Energizer Park. DeMay was really happy with how we played, but we lost 3-2. They smacked us around a little bit on our home turf. They're playing good soccer. They're high in the conference standing. So it's not the best game to maybe go and say, okay, our best player on the pitch is now gone. Oh, but we have this great player, Alexander Matan, who seems like a great spark plug. I'm interested in seeing him play. We also have Carlo Holza, but his fitness is going to be an issue right now. So even though he's a stud DP, how studly can you be if you can't go a 90? We'll have to see for sure. But yeah, I think for Yohan DeMay and the team, who are, I'm sure, already on their way right now to San Jose, that your goal, of course, is to take all 3 points. But I think either way, you have got to get the result there. It's not just because you're still climbing in the standings. You have to show to yourself and the fans of St. Louis that despite who we lost, who's a massive player, we still believe in this system and we can still win games.
Matthew Rocchio informed me a few moments ago that Tom Bogert, who you referenced earlier, was doing a podcast. And I guess the paraphrase was that there's still some separation between the team and Edward Leuven in terms of maybe getting him locked into a longer-term deal. Just considering the fact that Hartl's walking out the door, is it fair to say that there's even more importance that the organization finds a way to make sure that Leuven does remain part of this organization long-term?
Yeah, well, actually, now that you said that, now you got me thinking about it. Yeah, for sure. I wasn't thinking about that. I was stressed about a lot of things, Matt, but not that.
That's what I do. I bring stress to people's lives. Just ask my wife.
But yeah, I mean, you think about it, and now Edward Leuven's, I feel like, he's a guy, a player who kind of stands on his own. He was here before Hartle, before Giannis Horn was with the team, before all that was kind of occurring. But to the point, they're all German. They played together on, I think, the U19, it was, maybe U21, German youth national team. They have that experience, and Edward Leuven has had one of the biggest losses you can have in your life. So what's keeping him in St. Louis? If you really think about it from a personal perspective, the family's home, if home is home, and if St. Louis isn't enough of a home, when you've had that kind of loss, maybe you're rethinking things. So to your point, yeah, you're St. Louis City SC, and you see Edward Leuven, Yohan DeMay sees Edward Leuven as really a part of this system, which is interesting because Matt Rocchio was there as well. We heard DeMay talking about possibly moving him around, not seeing Edward Leuven mostly in the center of the field, maybe seeing him over on the left side here, pushing him higher up the pitch, which is not something he's typically favored. I wonder if DeMay is trying to figure out, does he really fit the way I want him to fit in this system? And if he doesn't, then St. Louis City might have a different decision to make. But I, for one, would like to see A to stay.
Late night soccer on Saturday. They match up against San Jose, the broadcast over on our sister station, Y98. They played San Jose earlier this year, lost by a goal, 3-2. Other than the fact that the team is just playing better soccer now, what can be the difference to reverse that coming up on Saturday?
Yeah, that's it. Exactly it. Playing their game, but also remember San Jose. Here's how I remember San Jose. Within the first 5 minutes of the game, can't remember the player. Matt will know it right off the top of his head. But Timo Baumgartl got shoved to the ground, just stiff-armed. The ball was nowhere near, and San Jose was making a point of saying, we just walked in your house, and we just trampled all over your carpet with dirty feet, and we don't care. So it was really, for me as a soccer player, very insulting. So I felt insulted by that win. So, yeah, they've got to go in, and now they got to do it in San Jose's house. San Jose's 3 in the Western Conference. I think not only does City have to play their game, but they also need to play chippy. San Jose's a chippy, really kind of, dirty is a bad word. I don't want to say dirty, but, they're not afraid to try some things off the ball. They're not afraid to get in your head. And St. Louis City SC is going to have to play with a little, I don't know, what do you call chutzpah. Going to have to play with a little bit, little bit of chip on the shoulder and, maybe a gesture that you can't show on TV and says, hey, we're here to take this game. We're here to at least take a point. We'll take all three, and we'll do it to you what you did to us back in, I think it was April.
Who's your player profile this week?
Oh, Sang-Bin Jong. So I've been so excited to talk to him. He was a little uncomfortable last year. I can't even imagine these players who, come from another country. They don't speak the language, and they're brave enough to even do a press conference. And, he was amazing to talk to. So that's another fun player to see how DeMay is going to use him. We've typically seen him on the right. If Edward Lubin's not in, it's been Sang-Bin, and he's, we know what he's there to do, put the ball in behind, and he's going to go run onto it and stretch the defense. But Yohan DeMay has kind of intimated this week that he could be used also in some other positions. Like, is he going to go up top? Is he going to be a double striker with Simon Betcher? So it'll be interesting to see that and to hear also about his journey and talking about some of his best memories were also not only being here in St. Louis, but appearing for his national team and playing with Son Heung-min of LAFC.
He wasn't available in the first matchup. With his speed and the way San Jose plays, it seems like maybe that's something that they can take advantage of.
Yes, I would love to see that because San Jose is not afraid to push their defensive line up, right? We know when St. Louis City pushes up and sometimes Roman Berkey seems to come all the way to the circle, we're pushing really high. San Jose likes to try that, and I'd love to see them try that against Sang-Bin.
Awesome. Jen, we appreciate your time. We'll be listening on Y98 late Saturday night. That's a 9:30 start, so 9 o'clock for the broadcast. Enjoy the late evening, and we'll talk to you again real soon.
Thanks. Punch Rocky on the arm for me.
I will. I can do that. All right, that's Jen Cease joining us. I think I can. I don't want to get called into the boss's office for assaulting my producer, but if Jen tells me to...
She's tiny, but she hits hard.
I'm sure. I don't think I've ever been hit by her, but
I got this. We had the same interview one day, and I was doing it before her, and I was taking too long.
Oh, ooh,
yeah.
Okay, I wouldn't mess with Jen. I would not mess with Jen.
I said it as a joke, but I was 100% serious at the same time. When after the media match, I said she's the dirtiest player in soccer media here in St. Louis, and she did not deny that.
Was she the best player?
I don't think she was the best. I think
Okay.
I think there were some people who cheated being in their 20s.
Oh, that happens.
I have a feeling if you equalized everything, she would be though.
Okay. We're late for break. We're going to do Joshua Baez from here to the end of the show. More in a moment on KMOX.
It's not really a sports show. It's just a show.
So I don't really have a sports show, but I love the Cardinals. I am born and bred St. Louis, went to my first game like so many of you, 4 years old. Couldn't believe how green it was standing there next to the players with my dad, and now I go with my kids. You get it. So when you listen to the DGS, it's going to be a slice of life happy hour, but we're always going to talk Cardinals.
The Dave Glover Show at 1. Then stick around for Cardinals baseball.
Charlie Brennan here with a happy 35th anniversary to John and Cindy Morelli, who started Morelli Tuck Pointing in 1991. They were later joined by their daughter Deanna and her husband Julian. As of today, the Morellis have won every award possible for the tuck pointing industry. The BBB Torch Award, the Next Door Neighbor Fave Award, and an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. When you're out in the yard or on your patio, take a look over your brick, stone, and mortar joints on your walls, chimney, walkways, and retaining walls. If they need repair, Morelli would love to help. It's a good idea to do that home maintenance before leaks are created or rebuilding is necessary. We've used Morelli Tuck Pointing to work on 2 homes and have found Morelli's bids to be fair, their work is excellent, and they clean up after themselves. 314-645-1387 and MorelliTuckPointing.com.
I'm not one to say I told you so, but I switched to Pure Talk over a year ago, and ever since, I've been telling people there's no better wireless company out there. Well, a few months ago, a massive survey was conducted. 123,000 people were asked to rate their wireless carrier in 4 categories: coverage, support, data, and overall value. Well, the results are in. Guess which wireless company was the only wireless company to get 5 stars in every category? Yeah, Pure Talk. 5 stars, every category. To celebrate, Pure Talk is offering the first 3 months of any plan for just $15 a month, including their top-tier unlimited plan. No contract, no commitment, just a very inexpensive way to test drive the only American wireless company with 5 stars in every category. Just dial pound 250, say micro, and Pure Talk's U.S. customer service will take it from there. Again, pound 250 micro. And yes, I told
Do
you.
you have burning, tingling, or numbness in your feet, hands, or legs? Is neuropathy making it harder to walk safely, forcing you to watch every step, grip railings, or live with the fear of falling? If you've been told there's nothing that can be done for neuropathy, that isn't the full story. At Comprehensive Integrative Healthcare, we don't just label symptoms. We evaluate the underlying factors that may be contributing to nerve dysfunction. Our focus is helping reduce neuropathy symptoms, improving balance, and supporting better daily function, so you can stay active and independent longer. Most people don't realize neuropathy often progresses over time, and when it worsens, symptoms can become more limiting and more difficult to manage. Imagine being able to walk with more confidence again, sleep without burning or tingling waking you up, and stop constantly worrying about your next step. Right now, we're offering a free neuropathy consultation to determine if you may be a candidate for care. Call now to schedule your appointment at 636-355-8662. That's 636-355-8662. Don't wait until symptoms get worse. Call 636-355-8662 today.
I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm in the air conditioning business. I don't advertise that much. I was leaving a customer's home and I was out in Illinois, and as I was driving away, my fan for my air conditioner went out. I had to cross back over into St. Louis where there was bridge construction, so massive rush hour, backed up traffic, windows down, sweating. I had to take it straight to the dealership to drop it off because there's no way I can function, much less work, without air conditioning in my truck. And I'm the same way in my house, and every homeowner, not every homeowner, but most homeowners are the exact same way. So if you're experiencing difficulties with your air conditioner, meaning you have none, call me, Bart Inman, and it's one easy number, Missouri and Illinois, 314-293-2600. Again, Bart Inman, 314-293-2600, Missouri and Illinois. Call me. God bless.
Welcome back in. It is a Gray Bar Sports Open Line right here on KMOX. My name's Matt Pauley. Great to have you with us. We've got just a few minutes left in the program. We'll take you till 8 o'clock. Cardinals baseball tomorrow. You are going to want to be tuned in as it's going to be the debut of Joshua Baez. We assume he is going to be in left field. Again, Cardinals manager Oliver Marmol made that announcement earlier today. Jay Lee sending in a message saying, I'm excited about Baez. I think a lot of people say that. Jeremy saying, I trust Baez will be fine here. A lot of people are saying that, and we'll see. We'll see. Like, guess what? Even if he struggles over the next 6 weeks, that's fine. Mason Wynn struggled over his first 6 weeks, and he was, you can make the argument that his first full season of Major League Baseball was his best full season of Major League Baseball, at least from a hitting perspective. So there's reasons to be excited. And Matthew Rocky, it's taken me 4 hours to finally get to this point. I wanted to make it with Bernie, ran out of time. I've been wanting to mention it here. I'll finally get to it. I strongly believe that part of a baseball season is surviving 162. And surviving 162 includes sometimes you need boosts during the year. And I think Joshua Baez showing up, it can be a boost. Now, if he doesn't play well, if he doesn't hit, then it's not a boost. But bluntly, it doesn't change much. Left field, you've gotten, outside of like 2 weeks of Lars Nootbaar being good, you've basically gotten no production out of left field this year.
It's kind of like when, Gastelum came up and it was like, okay, this is going to be great. Look at the numbers he's did. And then he hit a wall. We see how hard Major League Baseball is. But what else were you going to do in the bullpen at that point?
Yeah.
Like, were you okay, time to give innings to Hansel Rincon? Like, it didn't make a lot of sense to do anything but that, despite the fact that, it didn't work out the way you wanted. And this might not work out the way you wanted, but that doesn't mean this isn't the right time to do it.
No, it is the right time. And if, and this is a big if he performs at a high level, if he hits a bunch of home runs, if he energizes this offense, if he lengthens the lineup, which is something they have needed all year long, well, then maybe you steal a couple more wins, and maybe that has some sort of impact down the line, because this team is still very much in contention, and it is my belief that none of these other teams that they're fighting against are especially that much better than them. Maybe they're all better than them a little bit, but I don't think any of these teams, whether it's the Padres, the Marlins, even the Diamondbacks are probably the team that I think is the best of that group. I've been impressed with what they've been able to do, but maybe this Baez, if he goes on a 2-week heater, that can be enough to steal you some games.
I think also why what you're getting at is why a lot of people are making maybe too much of what's going to happen this weekend.
Yeah.
Because I think we've all accepted they're not, roster-wise, they're never going to match up to the Dodgers. This season, they're not going to match up to the Brewers or catch the Brewers. But there's been a lot of, can they at least maybe be a better team overall than the Cubs? And I think this weekend, that's why a lot of people are leaning on that, because it's like, can they crack that? Is that the ceiling that they can punch through, or is it somewhere below that? And I think that's why people are making such a big deal of this, 3 games in the middle of August.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. And I also know this, anytime we say, this is the moment,
yep.
you have to have success in this series. It seems like those are the moments where they don't have success. Yep. And then it ends up not mattering because 2 weeks later you look at the standings and they're right there. I would contend that the 5-gamer against the Reds carries much more importance than this 3-game series against Chicago.
Oh, undoubtedly. But that's also why I'm worried about the weather tomorrow, because with the 5-game series coming up in Cincinnati, if it's a deluge tomorrow in Chicago, what's the plan?
Yeah, I don't know. You'd have to. I don't have time right now to go look and see mutual off days. They would probably. You wouldn't want to play a doubleheader on Sunday because then you're playing back-to-back. That might be in the collective bargaining agreement that you can't play back-to-back.
You can't play 7 games in 5 days.
I don't know. It probably isn't, but I don't know what you would have to find the mutual off day, which there probably is. They'll wait though. In that situation, they got plenty of time. Tomorrow's game is scheduled to begin at 1:20. They've got plenty of time. Scott Warman is going to be on the pre and post tomorrow. So Scott, get ready to hunker down in the studio, man. You might have a long way, and you're going to be working with them, Matthew.
Yeah,
I'll be thinking of you guys if there's a long rain delay.
Let's get a nice wind breeze up through the north. Let's push that storm right through Chicago. No need for that. We want to see some baseball.
Yeah, let's get some baseball in. Let's have a normal day for Joshua Baez.
I should not have made dinner reservations.
Oh, did you really?
It was a casual one, not a serious one. Okay. It's they're for 8:45. Which looked like I was going to be in the clear for
dinner. I'm a dad with 2 young kids. I don't know what a dinner reservation is. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll wrap up this edition of the program. More in a moment. It's a Gray Bar Sports Open Line on KMOX.
Get this, 42% of baby boomers don't even know how much money they have in their nest egg. If you're not sure where you stand in terms of getting ready for retirement, you should be listening to the All Financial Hour with Steve All.
Let's sit down and talk about your questions, because I think that's the most important thing that it is out there. It's what questions do you have?
Saturday mornings at 10 or Sunday evenings at 6, right here on KMOX.
Hi, I'm Eric. And I'm Howard. We're the pain guys of Canner and Pintaluga. You already know after an accident to call 911 and then 411. 1-800-411-PAIN.
But you may not know behind the number is an experienced law firm with nearly 100 attorneys working hard for our clients.
Call the pain guys at 1-800-411-PAIN.
Law offices of Canner and Pintaluga, Kyle Conhauser, Esquire. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Offices throughout the U.S. Not all lawyers licensed in all jurisdictions.
Seeing more bees, wasps, or hornets around your home? Carpenter bees can damage wood structures, and wasps and hornets often hide nests inside walls. Don't risk getting stung. Let Rottler Pest Solutions protect your home and family. Call Rottler today or visit Rottler.com.
Giddy up! It's the Cardinal Cowboy. Don't let garage door problems bench your summer plans. From repairs, tune-ups, and replacements, Renner Garage Door hits a grand slam every time. Score a free repair or replacement quote today. Plus, $100 off a new garage door. Featuring trusted brands like Delden, Amar, and LiftMaster. Renner delivers the quality, reliability, and performance your home can count on. RennerDoorSTL.com. Forward and back.
RENNER, RENNER.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRANGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Lots of places can expose you to identity theft.
Oh no.
That's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats to your identity, which is way more than anyone can do on their own. If we find anything suspicious, like new loans or changes to your financial accounts, we alert you right away, all through text, phone, email, or the LifeLock app. Get the alerts that could make all the difference. Save up to 30% with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
To have a roof over your head, a nice roof over your head, is very important.
That's Rick talking about his experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago, and they were very cooperative on getting us the right paint. They were in and out and done in no time. Once it was finished, looked great. We were very happy with it.
The main reason Rick called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by a 25-year transferable warranty.
We've watched a lot of people get their house painted 3 or 4 times, and we haven't had to do any of it. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to have to paint it every 5-7 years.
Take a tip from Rick and put down the paintbrush and call Rhino Shield for your free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago. Financially makes sense, especially if it's going to last like this did. Still looks great.
Call now. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com.
Don't paint, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM KMOX. Now, back to the Gray Bar Sports Open Line, presented in part by St. Luke's Hospital, St. Louis's #1 heart hospital, on 104.1 FM KMOX.
All right, only about a minute or so left here in the program tonight, and we will have Cardinals baseball the rest of the weekend here on KMOX. Again, they'll take on the Cubs tomorrow, 1:20, Sunday, 2:15. By the way, sidebar, just because I want to help you out, because I'm like that. I know we would rather you just always be tuned in to the games on KMOX, but I would be naive to say that I know that you don't watch some of the games on TV. Today was on Apple TV. Actually didn't get as many complaints about the Apple TV thing as we normally do. But Sunday's game is going to be, let's see, Matthew Rocchio, do you know the network that the Cardinal game will be on Sunday, the TV network?
I have no idea. It's on a different one?
It is. It's not on Cardinals TV.
Peacock?
It's on ABC.
Oh, I had no idea they had any kind of contract. Okay.
Yeah, so ABC 30 will be your home for Cardinals baseball on the TV side coming up on Sunday. Evidently, ABC's got a deal for a handful of Major League Baseball games this year, which I also was not aware of. Thanks for being tuned in. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you again on Monday here on KMOX.
What if you saved money every time you spent money? With Achieve It Checking from Together Credit Union, you can.